Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, September 20th, 2024. NFL Week 3 is upon us. The MLB playoffs are just 10 days away, and we've got our first division winner. The Milwaukee Brewers have clinched the NL Central. Only one other team has clinched a playoff spot, and that would be your New York Yankees, Luke.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
the inaugural UCL League stage is underway. It was a 3-day event over this first week, and then it'll now be every other week, 2 days a week. Which I'm going to be honest, we'll talk about it later though. I'm not going to go ahead and just get onto this diatribe right now. But the Premier League season obviously is rolling on. Now 2 weeks removed from that international break, so we've got a lot more to talk about. Of course, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here on Second and Short, make sure you subscribe. I was looking at the numbers on the last episode of the podcast from Monday. Over 55% of the people listening to that episode were not subscribed. Come on. That means I think the last time I checked, that probably means 15 people right now not subscribed. Like, what are you doing? It's so easy.
You click a button.
Yeah, and then what you have to do is you turn on the post notifications once you click subscribe, and then whenever anything goes up. You don't even have to go to the Instagram, which you're more than happy to follow, and I very much encourage it. But you'll know when the podcast episode comes out. It's pretty much always 6 a.m. Mondays and Fridays, and you'll know when Premier League Team of the Month comes out or the college football show comes out. You'll know about all that if you turn on the post notifications. Of course, while you're here, comment, give us whatever you'd like in the comments. Well, at some point in this episode, we'll tell you something to comment down below. Obviously, follow us on IG. Join the subreddit r/2nd A&D short. That's where you can submit your questions for questions time. Once again, Nathan got the questions in early. I did remind him, but I think he was already planning it. But he got the questions in early. But you can help out with the questions on the subreddit. When you're done here, go watch the second episode of the Second Short College Football Show. That came out at 3 p.m. yesterday as you're listening. And I thought it was a pretty good episode. Feel free to leave us any feedback on what you want to see on that show, because it's still very much a work in progress. Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. I am fantastic.
Yeah, my day was going pretty well for about the first couple of hours, and then it totally derailed, and now we're here. So I'm trying to keep the energy high, and I'm excited to talk about NFL Week 3. I think it's going to be an interesting week considering what we got to see last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Very interesting NFL season.
Yeah, already.
So.
It has been an interesting start, and we're having an interesting finish to the MLB season, which we will talk about a little bit in the MLB recap. We've got Premier League weekend to talk about. Got a couple of pretty good matches this weekend. UCL Matchday 1 recap, so we'll talk through. I don't know how much you got to watch. I didn't get to watch much. I saw some highlights, really. I saw some of the stories coming out of the Champions League, and Luke just left the call. I don't know what happened. I'm going to keep talking. We've got Champions League, and I know it looks super weird on your screen. You just see me twice because one of them is in Discord, but we'll just wait patiently. There he is.
My
Man
bad.
of the hour. No worries.
I don't know how tabs work.
All right. Well, give us one moment. We'll pause the recording and we'll get started. All right, we're back from some technical difficulties. I don't know about technical difficulties. I'm just going to air it out. Luke just closed Discord. That's what happened there. But we've got the Champions League to talk about. A bunch of stories coming out of that. And then, of course, we'll round it out with questions time. Luke, anything before we get into NFL Week 3?
No, nothing at all.
All right.
Ready to hop into it.
Yeah, let's do it. NFL Week 3 preview. We'll start with a little bit of Thursday night football. We won't go too in-depth here, but we got Patriots versus Jets on Thursday night football tonight, as we're speaking at least. Jets 6-point favorites as it stands right now. I think the Jets are clearly the favorite. They did win that last meeting, which was the first time in 20 years that they had beaten the Patriots. Now they play again, once again in East Rutherford. I don't mind what I've seen from the Patriots. we saw obviously a big upset over the Bengals in week 1. Week 2, close, hard fought game went to overtime with the Seahawks. I feel like the Jets got this one, but if you let Ramondre Stevenson go crazy, you're gonna have to pay for it. And that's what teams have been doing.
Yeah. He's had a pretty unexpectedly good start to the season for
Yeah.
me. On top of that, really, the whole Patriots team has. Their defense has always been there,
Hmm.
and I feel like they did an okay job against the Seahawks. They're so high octane. Didn't do a good job covering the receivers because
No.
DK and Jackson Smith were just going crazy. But Jacoby Brissett's doing fine.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mind what he's been able to do. And going into this matchup, you have to take into account the big brother little brother aspect of this matchup. And I don't think that's something that you can rule out just yet. I don't know if the Jets are good enough to beat the big brother little brother matchup.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
I don't
just
know. This one
these
could go
two
either way.
franchises are in such different places than what we would have thought, where they're at even a year ago. Like Patriots have
Yeah.
gotten like an entire change in the coaching staff. Essentially, now we actually have a healthy Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. Brees Hall looks phenomenal, and he is fully healthy from that ACL tear. Like this is a very different look to what we saw last year from these two teams. The Patriots aren't necessarily in a better spot, but they're not really in a worse spot. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I am excited to see how Hunter Henry continues to be a part of this offense. He's been a guy who he looked so good early in his career in Los Angeles, or I guess San Diego when he was there with the Chargers, and then just kind of slowed down entirely since he got to New England. Now he's finally picking it up. I like what I'm seeing. So I'm interested in the Patriots offense. Probably the most about them is just how their offense is going to function from here on out. But I do think the Jets will probably take this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give a score prediction for
Yeah.
this guy. I'm gonna go 2017 Pats.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Um, I'm gonna go 17-14 Jets.
Okay.
Okay, let's
3-point
get
games.
into let's get into Sunday's games, and we'll start with Giants Browns. Ew, the Browns are a
Mm,
6.5 point favorite. That's how bad the Giants have been.
God. Yeah.
Like
That's brutal.
the Browns have sucked too. That's the jarring part of this. Like a 6.5 point favorite in a game where the total points right now is 38.5. That's not a good sign for either team.
No, not at all. And the Browns they've just been hot garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, they genuinely cannot throw the football, in
Yeah,
my
their
opinion.
offense is unbelievably bad.
And we talked about it a little bit on the podcast, but like when they were talking about trading Amari Cooper, and then he posted something on his story that was like, "Go ahead," or like,
Yeah.
"Trade me," something like
Doesn't
that.
sound too
And
bad or
then
something like that.
he's out here on two of my fantasy teams, like not even he's not even like running routes. I guess I don't know. I'm very upset with how Amari Cooper's
Well,
played, but then
would you want
again,
to play for Deshaun Watson?
I mean, he's not a good guy, you know.
There you go.
So Jerry Judy seems to like him.
Yeah, well, I don't trust Jerry Judy's judgment either.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think the
Wait a
Giants.
minute.
Sorry.
I totally missed this about the Browns last game. When did Jameis Winston come in and rush for 4 yards?
I don't. I would assume he probably got in late in the game. Um,
Huh.
but I was under the impression that Jameis Winston got cut. Before the
Oh.
season started. That's what I had heard. I guess he stayed on. Because I thought he would have been a prime candidate to play for the Dolphins. But
Yeah.
we can talk about the Dolphins quarterback situation in a couple minutes. But yeah, Giants Browns. I think the Giants are getting somewhere with Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors. I think that duo has some promise. And Devin Singletary has not looked bad. 2 games in,
No.
26 carries, 132 and a touchdown. That's really not all that
Yeah.
bad for Motor. But yeah,
What a weird team to figure out how to run the football
yeah,
with.
yeah. both of these teams probably trying to figure out how to run the football well. I I hate this game. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna take the Giants. I think the offense has just gotten like the first week it was really bad, and I could accept that. Last week wasn't perfect, but it was getting better, and like the defense was fine, but they gave up 7 field goals and lost. So I think this time around, against a very weak offense, the Giants have another chance. So I think they'll take this one. But I'm gonna go like 13-7 Giants.
I'm gonna go 3-2 Giants. I'm just kidding.
I thought you were
13
serious for a second. Which look, the Browns did get a safety last week.
That is true. 13-9 Giants.
13-9. Okay, so only field goals
Yeah.
for the Browns.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's head to Nashville. Packers, Titans. Potentially a Malik Willis homecoming. Potentially Jordan Love could start.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything about
he was
that.
a limited participant in practice yesterday.
Ow.
I don't
Was he
know
already
because
back?
the estimate was going to be 4 weeks, and he's already back to practicing. He knows
Yeah,
how bad
that's-
Malik Willis is. I think that's what's in the back
Fantastic
of his
news.
mind. Yeah, fantastic news for the Packers. But as of right now, he's not the starter, and because of that, Tennessee is a 2.5-point favorite at home.
On the notion of Justin Fields playing this game, Malik Willis only had 2 incomplete passes for 122 yards and a touchdown. And if you're giving Josh Jacobs the ball 32 times and he's going for over 150 yards, maybe you can rest Jordan Love against a Titans team where, man, I didn't like Will Levis coming out of college. I started to like him watching him play last season. He looks like he's regressed from what I've seen last season, and his offense only got better. I mean, he has dogs there.
Yeah, but I've talked about this already a couple times this season. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but I will say the offense, the players obviously got better, but the system entirely changed on him from what he had that first year, or I guess last year. So
Same
I
thing with
don't.
Bryce Young.
Yeah,
as well.
Bryce Young's been fucked from the start. And he got benched, in case anybody didn't know that. Yeah, I think Will Levis is just kind of getting screwed by a new system that is not made for his style of play. And because of that, I think that the Packers could easily stop this Titans team. If they stopped Anthony Richardson last week, like Anthony Richardson looked really good against Houston week 1. The Packers made him look so bad last week. He was super inaccurate. Like, he could not find guys down the field. It was a bad showing by Anthony Richardson last week, and I think a lot of that has to go to the Packers' defense. So,
yeah, I agree.
Whether Malik Willis is in or not, I think the Packers' defense is good enough to stop such a horrendous Titans offense to this point.
I think, what happened with the Colts going up against the Packers, and this is kind of a testament to the Packers' defense, but when the first quarter's 10-0 Green Bay, and then at halftime it's still 10-0 Green Bay, you're already down 2 possessions if you're the Colts, and I get it. Like, Jonathan Taylor now becomes less of a factor because you're having to throw your way back into the game.
Yeah.
But only getting 12 carries but rushing for 103 yards is no wonder you lost that game, Indianapolis. No wonder you lost that game. But again, you picked off Anthony Richardson 3 times, which is super impressive. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction here. I'm going to take Green Bay 17-10
Okay.
over Tennessee.
This is going to sound really weird, but I really like what the score was last week for the Packers. So I'm going to go Packers 16-14.
Okay.
I know that's an odd score to get to, but I do think, once again, like the Packers will probably not score many touchdowns and will just kick a lot of field goals. And I feel like 1 touchdown and 4 field goals? Or no, 3 field goals? That makes sense to me, in my mind, 16. And the Titans 14, maybe it's more going to be like 13 for them. But I do think the Packers will win by a small margin, but it'll maybe look dominant because of the defense.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
next
sure.
game. Bears Colts.
Oh.
Same division as the last matchup. Anthony Richardson versus Caleb Williams. Who can play worse? I don't know if anybody's gonna play better than the other. If I had to guess, probably Anthony Richardson. Bears had I wouldn't say horrible showing on Sunday Night Football last week, but it certainly was not what Chicago fans were looking for. And they're still kind of waiting for a great performance out of Caleb Williams. Meanwhile, the Colts are looking for a win in the first place and also a bounce back for Anthony Richardson. Week 1 was so promising. If you could have asked anybody how they felt about Anthony Richardson after week 1, they would have been over the moon about him.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you come into week 3 and like everybody's like, is this guy even an NFL quarterback?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he threw 3 picks. Chill out.
Yeah. I think he's fine.
I do too.
He's still got to work out growing pains. Like he's only played like what 5 or 6 games in his NFL career.
Yeah,
So,
and like he only started 9 games in his college career.
yeah, exactly. But I honestly, I think this Bears team is a lot worse than what people think. But that defense is probably
Oh,
like top 5 right now.
that defense is
Um,
serious.
I am not a fan at all of anything this Bears offense is doing. They don't have a quarterback that can get the ball to DJ Moore.
Which is crazy because even Justin Fields could do that.
I know. Yeah, it's weird. And also DeAndre Swift has been a total non-factor in this offense, which doesn't help Caleb Williams out at all.
No.
So I think for the Bears, keep doing what you're doing defensively if you want to stop the Colts, because we've proven that we can rattle Anthony Richardson, make him throw a couple picks, but you have to get DeAndre Swift or the run game involved to be able to take pressure off your rookie quarterback. So that's like what I kind of think the Bears need to do.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. If the Bears offense doesn't figure it out in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start pointing the finger at the coaching staff. I understand that Caleb is a rookie, but I've seen him look good in bad situations. Even in the preseason, I saw him look really good at times. Yeah. Why can't he do anything right now? There's something going wrong where he can't find Keenan Allen. He can't find DJ Moore. He can't even find Cole Kmet. Like, he's not even hitting his tight ends. That's how I know that something's not working right.
And he's getting sacked a lot. One, because the Bears' offensive line has been totally exposed these first couple weeks. But two,
center position is a huge problem.
Caleb Williams is trying to run around like he did in college when these linebackers and D linemen are serious.
Yeah.
These are grown men.
Exactly. Like if you're, in the Pac-12 especially, in a given game, he's probably facing, let's say there's 5 guys that are going to rush him at all in a game. 2 of those guys might go to the league.
Yeah.
Dude, all 5 of these guys were the best guy on their defensive line in college, if not the second best. Why do you think it's going to function that way? I think Caleb needs to realize that. I think the coaching staff needs to kind of just let him know right off the top, this is not college anymore. You can't try and pull special shit. Ask Bryce Young. He's going through the same thing right now where his team is struggling and he is just going to be he's always going to get the finger pointed at him.
Yeah.
So Caleb just needs some things. He has some things he has to figure out. I'm going to go ahead and give my final score prediction. I think the Colts have got this one, especially at home. Because I think the offense is good enough to at least get some points out of this Bears defense. I think that's the biggest thing. Bears defense is a huge issue here, but I still like the Colts offense significantly more than the Bears. And I think I'm going to go, once again, a very low-scoring week, I guess. I'm going to go 20-13 Colts.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. If the Colts give Jonathan Taylor his love and they keep the ball out of the air as much as they can, setting up play action for Anthony Richardson, I'm gonna go 28-17 Colts.
Okay.
I think the Bears might finally just genuinely expose this game.
All right. Well, let's talk about
because their first 2 games have been Mickey mouse.
Oh, the
The Bears,
Texans, like,
it just makes no sense.
yeah, the Texans one week, like last week, was just so weird. Like
Yeah.
all the way through, that game was weird. Like 19-13 just doesn't seem right for how that game actually looked.
And then week 1 against the Titans might be like top 3, one of the weirdest NFL games I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, definitely.
genuinely. So we can move on, but
Well, let's talk about the
yeah.
team that beat them last week. The Texans taking on the Vikings in Minneapolis. Houston,
Uh-oh.
a 2-point road favorite. Look, the Vikings are doing something right now.
I know.
Sam Darnold, Jettas. It's something serious. I don't know what's going on. And like game 1, it was Aaron Jones in the running game. Game 2, it's Ty Chandler. You don't know who's going to be out there just killing it, but one of them probably will. And look, the Texans defense, got to give them their props. Now, I don't know how good the Bears defense or the Bears offense really is in the grand scheme, but the Texans defense looked pretty good. They picked off Caleb Williams twice. So you have to be doing something right. And the leading rusher for the Bears in that game was also Caleb Williams, who had 44 rushing yards. So the fact that the Texans are stopping the run so well certainly forces Sam Darnold to keep the ball in his hands. And that is probably the position you want to be in if you're the Texans. Or
for sure.
Justin Jefferson's going to burn you. I don't know, because he just did it to the 49ers. So who's to say he can't do it to the Texans?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Sam Darnold's been a very efficient passer. I think, what the most important thing we've seen from him in his first 2 games has been like he can make like any throw.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a very situational quarterback. He's not like a short yardage guy. He's not a deep ball guy. He can just kind of make the right throw, which is, super important when you're going against very good defenses. And he proved it against the 49ers. And if you even want to further that point, Jettas came out of the game with a quad injury in the third quarter.
Yeah.
They still hung on and won the game. So what the Vikings have been able to do offensively and underratedly defensively has been super, super impressive. And I think we've seen the Texans get more exposed, especially in week 1 against the Colts, than we've seen the Vikings, in their first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So a part of me is thinking that it could be kind of a trap game for Houston, and I kind of almost want to say the Vikings could be 3-0.
They definitely could be. I think the big thing for the Texans, you got to figure out the run game again. Week 1, Joe Mixon ran for 150 yards. Week 2, he ran for like 30. You got to figure out the middle ground here. If you can get Joe Mixon to just get like 80 yards every game, like he's always done, you'll be just fine. And he will set you up for so many great play action opportunities or just big yardage opportunities that set up an easy pass. Like there's so many things you can unlock if Joe Mixon is running well. But last week he got stuffed by the Bears. You got to figure out what he needs to do this week to run efficiently against the Vikings, and it'll set up CJ Stroud 10 times better.
And I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction here. Vikings, Texans. I want to go Vikings so bad, but I don't know. The Texans are just a little bit more proven. Fuck it. 24-21 Minnesota. Give it to me. Taking the upset here.
I'm going to take the inverse. I'm going to go 24-21 Texans.
Okay.
Kyrie Fairburn. Game-winning field goal. Okay. Next game, Eagles-Saints. 2 teams that I have a lot of questions for. The Eagles. Why'd you lose? Pussies?
Yeah.
The fuck you gonna say now? And the Saints. I do not want to play you guys twice this year, as it looks. That's.
Bro, why are the Saints the best team in the NFL right now?
I don't know, dude. Tell me why Derek Carr's the MVP. And Rashid Shaheed is the offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Or Alvin Kamara. They're going to be contending for it. Like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, man. AK's been different.
Bro, 4 touchdowns last week against the Cowboys? Like, what the hell?
He does it, dude. He does that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't figure out the Saints, but I also can't figure out why the Eagles were so bad. I saw people whining and complaining about not having A.J. Brown. That should not be the only thing to get you wins.
Definitely not.
Like, that's a bullshit excuse, especially when you signed, like, the best running back on the market, like a top 5 running back in the league in the offseason. You still have a very, very good, potentially elite wide receiver too. And, like,
Yeah.
a pretty good wide receiver 3 by wide receiver 3 standards in Jahan Dotson. You should be able to figure this out, and you have, like, a top tight end. You can't make excuses. I know, yes, an injury to a number 1 wide receiver who's, like, top 10 in the league probably is is going to hurt your offense. But that offense looked so boring.
You know, I think a lot of it wasn't really so much on Philly, but a lot of it was on what Atlanta was doing.
Yeah,
I
Jesse
genuinely
Bates.
thought
Oh
Atlanta's
my
defense was
god.
sick.
Jesse
Yeah, Jesse
Bates.
Bates. Yeah. Um, the Falcons are building something really, really special. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a hot take, Grayson. I want you
Okay.
to respond. I know we're not talking about Atlanta, but I just have to say it because I'm looking at his name in the box score right now.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson is a top 2 athlete in the NFL, only behind Christian McCaffrey. You cannot change my mind.
Yeah.
What he does is unlike seriously anything I've ever seen before.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah. Why? You made fun of me last week, but he is the master ankle collector.
Yeah.
He just. I've never seen anybody able to just drop people like he does or juke people out. It's automatic.
No, it's so much fun to watch a good running back in Atlanta.
Yeah, and the Eagles
you know
let
how
Darnell
much,
Mooney.
You know how much bullshit I had to deal with the last couple of years at the running back position in particular. Bro, I had to deal with Todd Gurley.
Ugh. Not the good Todd Gurley.
No. No, the Todd Gurley that retired. That's the Todd Gurley I had. And before that, the world convinced me, and him playing at Florida State convinced me that Devontae Freeman deserved to be the highest paid running back in the league at one point. And then I also talked myself into Tevin Coleman simultaneously. Like, I've been dealing with the worst. And then Arthur Smith tried to convince me Cordero Patterson's a real running back. No.
Yeah. No.
Bijan Robinson is the truth. And Arthur Smith couldn't see that last year.
No. And his buddy Tyler Algier back there, he was also running mean against Philly.
Also, Drake London, what a blocker.
Yeah.
What a blocker. Okay, back to Eagles Saints though. The Eagles defense was fine until that final drive. That final drive, Kirk Cousins took them by the balls.
Yeah.
And if that's going to happen, the Saints are going to do it too.
Very true. Very, very true.
It feels crazy to me right now that I'm like complimenting the way that the Saints are playing in week 2. But I'm genuinely surprised.
Well, in what world does Derek Carr throw 16 passes and his offense puts up 44 points?
Exactly. Makes no sense.
He didn't even have to do anything that game.
No, he didn't.
Like, it's unbelievable.
He
what the Saints have been
Dak
able to do.
look like the Dak of like 2 years ago. Like,
yeah,
it was unbelievable what the Saints did last week. I'm gonna go with them again. I'm gonna take.
Me too.
I'm gonna take the Saints 28, Eagles 21.
I'm gonna take the Saints 31, Eagles 20.
Okay. And I'm gonna actually retract my score because I realized I didn't include a field goal, and there's been an ungodly number of field goals this season. So Jake Elliott can make one. So 28-24.
Okay.
Next game, Chargers Steelers. Both teams 2-0, surprisingly.
No.
No, very much surprisingly.
Okay,
before we even get into anything, I'll try and keep it brief for you. Who's going to be the quarterback when Russ is healthy?
Probably Russell Wilson.
Is that what you want?
I think it's man, it's so hard because like I will say, like, as a fan of the NFL for as long as I have been, it is going to be cool to see Russell Wilson suit up for my team. He's a Super Bowl champion.
Yes.
But it's hard to pull a guy that's 2-0. And Justin Fields, I have really grown a bond with.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Look, I
really do.
I was talking with my buddy Hunter Thompson. Shout out Hunter. and because
Yeah,
I
100.
put out the poll on my Instagram for Monday's episode. I put out the poll saying who's got a bigger QB decision, and it was kind of rage bait. But I said the Steelers or the Texas in college, and he swiped up and said neither of them have any decision to make. And I was like, well,
That's
what do
a
you mean?
decent take.
And he was like, Quinn Ewers is obviously the quarterback for the Texans, and I believe he said that. I'm misremembering now. I think he said Russell Wilson's the guy. I'm gonna double check because
Okay.
I don't want to misquote him. Um, yeah, yeah, he's saying Justin Fields is the guy. Sorry. Um, yeah, I tend to agree. Obviously, with the Texas thing, I obviously agree. That was the rage bait part. But the I think Justin Fields deserves it. This team,
Yeah.
even with Russell Wilson, might not have started out 2-0.
Yeah.
Not that Justin Fields has
Yeah, it's
been
very
like
true.
some unbelievable quarterback, but he's giving you the opportunity to be in games, and that's better than most have in the past.
Yeah, and dude, that throw that freaking Broderick Jones had like that holding penalty on where
Oh
Fields rolled
yeah,
out to his right and just dotted Pickens. By the way, PS2, you might as well be a PSP because holy fuck did you let George Pickens just run your cheeks, brother.
dude, Pat
I have
Surtain
never
has looked
seen
horrendous since he
yeah,
got
dude,
paid, bro.
so many defensive holdings. He had I think like a
Yeah,
DPI, maybe two. Yeah, Pickens was looking good, but yeah, this Steelers quarterback situation is so interesting because I want to go back to what I said earlier. Yes, the Steelers are 2-0, and a lot of that has been because Justin Fields has just been doing enough. But there is still so much room for improvement
yeah,
on offense that I think you can still argue that maybe Russ gets the torch. But then you may have the issue where you bench Fields, you start Russ, Russ does bad, now Fields isn't confident anymore.
yeah.
So you have to play this so carefully, but I'm afraid that we're probably going to see Russell Wilson soon. So,
Yeah, and that's a shame because I do like watching Justin Fields. I think, and another thing that Hunter pointed out when me and him were talking, he said that Arthur Smith has like enough like BS in his game plan that Justin Fields works in that role. Arthur
yeah,
Smith
I think
tries
so.
enough dumb shit that Justin Fields is the perfect quarterback for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree.
I
Should
don't
we
know
talk
how
about the
this.
Chargers?
Yeah, the Chargers are weird too because J.K. Dobbins is too good and too healthy right now.
Yeah, this is a little bit
It's week
weird.
2. I'm waiting for an injury, and I hope that doesn't happen. But I'm just like I can't simply watch J.K. Dobbins and not every single time he gets tackled just be like, oh, like I don't
Yeah.
even want to look.
And in like 2 years, he's already going to have to retire because he'll be, old enough.
Yeah,
We haven't seen him in so long, healthy. But yeah, I respect the changes that the Chargers have made to their team. With losing guys like Keenan Allen to still, be 2-0 at this point.
yeah,
They've really had to adapt, and I think that says a lot about them.
yeah. How about Quentin Johnston finally becoming an end zone target? That's what he should have been at all times.
I was ready for it.
He was always
Yeah,
built for that. And
yeah,
they never used him that
always.
way. And now that Harbaugh's there, they've figured him out. Which then again,
Wh-
Harbaugh figured out how Quentin Johnston operated in that college football playoff semifinal. But
Yeah,
um,
big time.
yeah, I think Harbaugh should be really happy with what he's got right now. Because like Herbert's looked fine. You can still tell he's coming back from that injury. Um, and then obviously J.K. Dobbins has been otherworldly for them. Gus Edwards does his job still. He's not really getting touchdowns, but he's getting the short yardage plays that you need out of him. And Quentin Johnston's been serviceable. Lad McConkey looked good week 1. Wasn't as much of a factor last week. So I'm very excited to watch how the Chargers progress as an offense. And the defense hasn't
And
been bad.
not at all. And I think the interesting matchup here is that you're taking probably one of the best pass rushes in the
Yeah.
Steelers, and you're putting them up against a offensive line that
Oh
has
yeah.
been otherworldly for Justin Herbert. So Joe Alt versus TJ Watt is going to
Oh,
be something
I'm
to
looking forward
watch.
to it.
Yeah, me too. And I think both of these defenses, I think the Chargers are first. They've only allowed like 10 points, 10 or 13 points, and the Steelers have
Yeah.
only allowed like the second least in the
Yeah.
NFL. So it might be like 3-6.
Yeah, dude, I hate that all these games are so low scoring, but I think I'm gonna go Chargers 13, Steelers 10.
Um, I'm gonna take same score, but the Steelers are gonna win.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Steelers are a 1.5-point favorite. I don't know if I said that. And the over under is 35.5. I think it's the lowest of the week. Okay.
Wow.
This one shouldn't take much talking, or at least one side won't. Broncos Buccaneers in Tampa. Tampa, a 6.5-point favorite. Bo Nix is not good. Don't tell me otherwise. I don't care if it's only 2 games into his career and he has almost no weapons in the receiving core and the running game at that point because Javonte Williams sucks as well. The Broncos are bad and Bo Nix is bad as well. Look, Baker Mayfield proved me wrong. I'll give him his credit. He proved me wrong. And
so is Chris Godwin.
Holy Chris Godwin also is proving me wrong. Mike Evans doing his normal thing. Rachaad White, I'm still right about Rachaad White because he does not run for any yards, but he can catch the ball. Like Bucky Irving has the most rushing yards out of any running back in this matchup with 84 rushing yards in 2 games. He has more than Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Crazy.
Brutal.
Absolutely crazy. So I think this is a obvious pick. Look, even if Pat Surtain has a great game, you could just throw to Chris Godwin or Mike Evans, whoever's not being guarded by him, or you could just throw to Jalen McMillan, which he did in week 1 and got a touchdown out of it. Baker Mayfield's going to figure it out. He's done a good job spreading the ball around. So I think this is a no-brainer for the Buccaneers. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction as well. I'm going to go 31-9 Buccaneers.
That might be pretty accurate. The Broncos have nothing going for them. Unlike you, I actually Bo Nix has kind of surprised me this year.
Really? Everything he's done has been for nothing.
But
that's
I
where
think you gotta at least pay attention to what he has been able to do, though. There's definitely talent there.
There is, but there's also not a Broncos fan in the world right now that is like, oh, but look what he's doing. Not a single person has belief in him right now.
That's a very good point. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction as well. This Buccaneers defense has so many veterans on it that Bo Nix is just dead.
Yeah, and also the Buccaneers beat the shit out of the Lions. I know it was a 6-point game. They kind of dominated.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Buccaneers 28, Broncos 10.
Okay. Well, another interesting matchup. To start off, a 4:00 slate that, might I add, has 5 games. That's beautiful. That's how it should be. 5 games is perfect because it gives me enough games to ignore this next one we're about to talk about. Panthers, Raiders. Now, the Raiders did just upset the Ravens, which was unbelievable.
Yep.
And the Panthers are horrendous, but we haven't seen them yet with Andy Dalton. Now, Adam Thielen is going to get the ball today. Not today, Sunday. Adam Thielen's getting the ball. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah.
Xavier Legette is getting the ball. Everybody is getting the ball today. Sunday. I keep saying today. Everybody's getting the ball on Sunday. That's what I'm seeing right now. That's what I'm thinking for Andy Dalton. Because look, the only person not getting the ball, whoever's at running back. That's what I know. Because they can't run for shit. And if Bryce Young's in there, they can't pass for shit because he doesn't have the time to throw. The last time we saw Andy Dalton step in, he threw like 50 passes. And Adam Thielen had a day.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, why would that not happen again?
No, that's a very good point. And on the Raiders side, I tried to tell you when we talked about the AFC West Gardner Minshew is going to be able to find ways to win because he always has.
Yeah.
And look what they did against Baltimore. Only 8 incompletions for
Yeah.
Gardner,
I think my
which was
biggest
a
problem with the
crazy game.
Raiders was that I thought Alex O'Connell or Aiden O'Connell might actually be the starter.
I thought Zamir White was Zeus. Instead, he's just a regular citizen.
Yeah, but
not a
Devontae
god.
Adams is going to be fed. He's
Oh,
going to be
man, and
well
Brock
fed.
Bowers. Who needs our fucking last first-round draft pick? Fuck Michael Mayer. Why did we even draft Brock Bowers? So he can 9 receptions, 98 yards.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I weirdest draft pick ever, but it paid off.
Yeah, it's a weird one considering Michael Mayer. You could have just not drafted Michael Mayer last year, and you'd be
Dude,
fine. Or the year before, whatever.
If I was an NFL GM and I needed a tight end, that's exactly what I would be calling Oakland, Vegas.
Yeah,
I would be calling Vegas.
It's tough to get a team to trade a guy on a rookie contract.
That is a very good point.
But
yeah,
he's definitely in a position where if somebody was calling, the Chargers maybe could use a tight end. I'd be calling for Michael Mayer. What else is there to even say about this match? I don't think there's anything. A score prediction?
I wanted to talk about Bryce Young getting benched a little bit,
and
I wanted to have a tad discussion.
Yeah.
You know, I hate it for his confidence because, like, I don't know if you saw the video of him walking out for practice, and that fan was like, you know, hey, I'm rooting for you or whatever. You know, you like to see stuff like that, right? And he looked really down, but I think it could be kind of an opportunity for Bryce Young to just sort of reset. And on the other hand, I'm excited to see Andy Dalton. You know, I watched him for so many years, you know, being a fan of the Steelers. We saw him twice a year. So I'm excited to see Andy Dalton again for my childhood. It's a legacy game.
Yeah, I don't care for Andy Dalton really whatsoever. But yeah, I've seen him do things. I've seen him get to the playoffs and lose the first game every year.
Yeah. But what, like, to your point though, the Panthers have so many receiving weapons that weren't really being utilized with Bryce Young. Andy Dalton's going to be able to get them the ball no matter what offensive line they have.
And that's been my biggest problem with how the Panthers have approached their off seasons in general. They're like, oh, the problem is that Bryce has no weapons in the receiving core. No, the problem is he has five fucking like milliseconds to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Of course he can't. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I understand the benching. I think if I had to guess, either Bryce Young might just not see the field again this year, which I highly doubt, or he's just going to come back and he's going to probably do the same shit because he's set up to fail in Carolina.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks because, and I don't want to compare the college careers or even the hype of these two players at all, but Sam Darnold got the same shit, and he's finally getting a chance. It's been so long. Sam Darnold got drafted in what, like 2016?
Yeah, something
around that time. And he's just now getting a fair shot. He even was the Panthers quarterback at one point, and he looked good, and they still didn't go with him.
So 2018 draft.
Okay, 2018. I can't even believe that they didn't keep Darnold. And then they go out and they, a year or two later, they get Bryce Young, and they still haven't tried to help him. They haven't had a good offensive lineman since, what's his name? Was it Ryan Khalil? Was that his name? He was an offensive lineman.
I don't even remember a Panthers offensive lineman that was good.
That's fair.
I can't think of one.
I think he was there with Cam. Let's see. I could just be dumb as hell. But Ryan Khalil. Yeah, he was a center for the Panthers, and he was very good. I think he's up for the Hall of Fame this year. Nonetheless.
Shout out Ryan Khalil.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think this game's going to kind of suck, whether the Raiders look good or not, whether Andy Dalton looks good or not. So I'm going to give a score prediction. I'm going to go Raiders 14, Panthers 13.
I'm going to go Raiders 24, Panthers 10.
Okay. Dolphins at Seahawks. Seahawks a 4-point favorite.
Ooh.
Dolphins are a mess. It's going to be Skylar Thompson most likely. That's what it seems like. But they did sign Tyler Huntley. Um, so we'll see what that looks like. I'm very interested to see if Tyler Huntley can get into this very quickly.
Yeah. And again, like that Tua injury was just brutal to
Yeah.
watch. I
Oh
mean,
man.
literally very similar to what happened to him against Cincinnati, which is just not a good sign. Um, yeah, I don't really know where you go from here if you're Tua. I think if you're the Dolphins, I
Retire.
would genuinely start looking at other quarterback options.
Yeah. No, if I'm Tua Tagovailoa, I'm gonna pick up that call that Andrew Luck is gonna be giving me if he hasn't already, convincing me to
Yeah,
retire. I'm gonna listen because that was scary again. And it's really like, look, guys can have a scary leg injury twice, and I'd be like, okay.
yeah,
Scary head injury twice, and it comes down to your life. Honestly, it does.
yeah.
That's where that goes. So for Tua, there's some conversations to be had for sure. I don't know if he's just gonna call it a career just like that, but there are conversations to be had because look, we I'd love for him to stay on an NFL field, but I also don't want his brain being researched very soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think there's a better way to put it. I don't want to hear the results of that at all,
No, not at all.
though it would be helpful for the future.
Yeah, and like Tua hasn't even like gotten the chance to like become a dad yet either. Like
No,
there's still so much
a young
more than
guy.
football that, he could look forward to. He's made his money. He could do pretty much whatever he wanted to, and I know it's probably not what he wants to do,
Yeah.
but he's got a lot of people depending on him and counting on him, like his family and friends.
Yeah.
So
Like, he's only
if I'm
26 years
Tua,
old.
yeah, if I'm Tua, I'd probably walk away.
I would
At
too.
most, play out your contract. But even that's
But he
like,
just signed a big contract.
what? How many years was it?
I believe it was 4. Let's see. Pulling it up right now. Um, it was a 4-year, $212.4 million contract with 167 in injury guarantees. And
Jesus,
if he
that's a
were to retire because of this injury, um, I guess like he would get paid out that injury insurance or like that injury guarantee over the course of multiple years.
yeah. I'd probably just hang it up.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Look, he's gonna get opinions of a lot of people, and I think once one person that knows what they're talking about tells him to come back, he's gonna try. That's what's gonna happen. I know that that's a fact. He wants to be on the field,
Yeah,
but he can't control the fact that, like, okay. Also, why is he not wearing one of those shells? He's like the
I know.
player that should be wearing one.
Yeah,
I think that's a
like you
dumb choice on his part.
probably could have marketed the shell around him.
Yeah, he literally could have been the poster boy.
Yeah, um,
Okay, let's talk about what's actually going to happen in this game, though.
for sure.
Dolphins Seahawks. I can't imagine the Dolphins offense looks great with Tua out, especially because Skylar Thompson is horrible. Um, and the Seahawks showed me something. At least they showed me that they have the ability to use JSN and DK efficiently in their own right.
Without really having to run the ball much.
Yeah, yeah, with Kenneth
Um,
Walker out.
I think it simply for me just comes down to the fact that the Seahawks offense is, healthy and
Yeah,
they're very, very good and they're firing at all cylinders. And the Dolphins really like defensively, I think they've been disappointing. And offensively, it's they have weapons, but it's going to be hard to get them the ball because, we don't really know who's going to be quarterback, whether it's Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley. I think Huntley personally gives you a better chance,
yeah,
but
Pro Bowler.
um pro pro bowler for sure.
Yeah,
That was just so wild, by the way.
it
I'm going to
was.
go ahead and give a score prediction. I'm going to take Seattle 24, Miami 16.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go Seattle 27, Miami 17. I think they could score 2 touchdowns. I think A-Chain's good enough to give them something.
He is
Um,
wild.
yeah.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Next game, Ravens Cowboys. This one's interesting. Two teams that are not in the positions they might have thought they'd been in. The Ravens 0-2 after the tough loss to the Chiefs, and then a close loss to the Raiders, and the Cowboys losing to the Saints last week in blowout fashion. Super odd circumstances coming into this game. It's at Jerry World. Big high over under at 48.5.
You know, I think Baltimore might be 0-3 in this one.
Really?
Because the Cowboys always have that game where they're just like, oh, it's the stupid Cowboys. They're getting blown out by teams that we didn't really think was going to be that good. No way it happens 2 weeks in a row, right? Like I am.
But it doesn't have to be a blowout for the Ravens to win this game.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is because the Cowboys got blown out, I think that they'll probably come back at home firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Ravens defense is so. I think both these teams' defenses are really good. And they just haven't showed it yet. That's where I stand right now. Where these teams are at. Like, obviously, Dak does not look nearly as good as he has, at least last year, for sure. Lamar looks great, but they're not winning. So something needs to change.
For sure.
And I don't necessarily know what that is, just because the Raiders, like between the Chiefs game and the Raiders game, they looked entirely different.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I'm literally in the same boat as you. Like the Ravens are 0-2, but they haven't looked bad.
No.
I don't really
and that's
know
why it's hard for me to say that like the Cowboys can pull this off, because I don't like what I've seen from the Cowboys, even in week 1.
Yeah, that is a pretty good point. I will admit.
So
I don't know. Very weird game
to
predict here.
CeeDee Lamb,
because
still good.
I don't know how I feel. Yeah.
I can point that out.
Yeah. Zay Flowers probably catch at least like 3 passes, right?
Yeah. Probably.
I was really surprised to see Derrick Henry go 18 carries for 84 yards. I thought this whole season he was going to be like a 24, 23 carries kind of guy for like 40 to like 55 with like a touchdown. Something like that.
I knew like the way that offense operates for the Ravens, that Derrick Henry would have worked, and he has worked.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that he's making me eat my words just yet.
Okay.
Only been 2 games.
Well, I'm going to take the Ravens in this one, and I'm going to go a close one. I'm going to say Ravens 28, Cowboys 27.
Okay. I'm going to go Cowgirls 24, Baltimore 21.
Okay. Next game, 49ers Rams. Now, both of these teams, what the fuck happened last week? 49ers lost to the Vikings. The Rams got blown out of the water by the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to expect here. I would assume the 49ers will bounce back and look just fine. The Rams, though, and it's just like more insulting too, because you're getting beat and all of your players are getting hurt.
Yeah.
Now Cooper Kupp's out. Puka's been out. Like, something's got to give for the Rams.
And they haven't been able to get Kyron Williams going in either of their games, really.
No. And Matthew Stafford looks so old.
Damn.
He does. He aged years since that Super Bowl. He's aged 10 years.
It sure looks that way.
Except his new veneers. His veneers make him look like a young man. They look so bad. Like they just don't work for his face.
No. Not at all.
Because like I'm not going to Matthew Stafford and thinking like, oh, I need this guy to look good. No, I need Matthew Stafford with one shoulder hanging out. That's what I'm looking for from Matthew Stafford. And right now, it looks like he's got both shoulders hanging out because he cannot play football well. So I
No.
can't even possibly side with the Rams at all, like whatsoever. Jared Verse
Yeah.
has looked good, which I'm happy about. But like, what about like how the 49ers just unlocked Jordan Mason? What
Yeah, I
the
know.
fuck?
They're so lucky, dude.
Yeah.
They are so lucky.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable that Jordan Mason has just stepped up and just become Christian McCaffrey for 2 weeks. It's
Literally.
crazy.
I mean, that's
Actually
basically
crazy.
it.
And Brock Purdy looks fine. He didn't look bad last week. Ayuk needs to figure his shit out though. Holding out
No
for all
Debo.
of training. Yeah, no Debo as well. That will be a
Yeah.
problem. Hopefully Kittle doesn't get carted off to go get an IV drip and come back.
Yeah. For
um,
sure.
But yeah, Ayuk's got to figure something out because he's looked bad. And the
they're
mistakes
gonna
he's
need him.
making, and I think Peyton Manning might have pointed this out on that first in week 1. Like the mistakes he was making were the kinds of mistakes that you figure out in training camp. And
Yeah.
because he wasn't there and he waited right up until the season started to figure it all out, he's facing the consequences of it now.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I have a feeling the 49ers will be just fine, mainly just because Jordan Mason and George Kittle. So
Yeah, I think
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, based off of the last week's for the 49ers and the Rams, the 49ers are going to be able to run the ball. The Rams are not
Yep.
because the 49ers defense is so good and they haven't been able to get Kyron Williams going in that offense. The 49ers might struggle through the air, with no Debo and Brandon Ayuk, who didn't go to training camp and forgot how to play football.
Yes.
But at the same time, I still believe in Brock Purdy to kind of facilitate an offense where maybe he doesn't necessarily need a wide receiver one, especially if they're going against a team like the Rams.
Yeah.
And I just think the 49ers defense is just going to expose the run game and the pass game of the Rams. I'm going to give a score prediction, 49ers 24, Rams 7.
Okay. I'm going to go 49ers 31, Rams 10.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Lions, Cardinals. Two also very interesting teams.
Awesome game.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun one. I definitely agree with you there. It's the highest point total of the week at 51.5. I can only expect carnage. That's what I'm looking for. The Lions are pissed off about how last week went, if I had to guess. And the Cardinals are riding high. They just beat the Rams. They've had an issue with the Rams for years.
Yep.
And they just blew them out of the water. I can't imagine they don't continue this. James Conner looks great. Kyler looks just good enough to keep things going. Like, honestly, I'd say Kyler looks much improved to what I expected. I can say that for sure. And overall, the Cardinals offense is great.
Yeah, they finally got Trey McBride involved in the offense last week too,
Marvin
which
Harrison
was awesome
Jr.
to see.
as well.
Ooh,
He had a hell of a game.
Yeah. I loved it. I think this one's kind of easy. Look, what we've seen from Detroit is overall a very good offense. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they're doing their thing. Jameson Williams is busting out. He looks amazing. Amon Ra also figured it out. You almost had to pause me there.
I was going
but yeah, Jameson Williams looks great. Jameson Williams has essentially replaced Sam Laporta.
Yeah,
in this offense.
Who has done nothing.
Just ask my fantasy teams. So I really do think that this is not an easy win for the Cardinals, but it's a win because Jared Goff is playing at a level unlike I have seen him play in the past couple of years, where he has not been great.
No, he's turning the ball over again,
which is not good.
Yes, we know the Jared Goff turnover phenomenon. We talked about it extensively last year.
Last week against the Buccaneers, you lose a 4-point game. Yeah, your quarterback threw for 307 yards, but that's two possessions that he turned the ball over on.
Yeah, and I think they scored.
I keep moving my water bottle in and out of frame, but it's if Jared Goff's turning the ball over, as we've said before, they will lose the game, and I see no reason why he won't against the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think it's going to be extremely close, personally. So I'm gonna go Cardinals 23, Titans 20.
Lions, Titans,
Sorry,
Lions and Titans.
Lions, not Titans. Cardinals 23, Lions 20.
I'm so glad you're picking the Cardinals with me because I didn't want to do it alone. I'm gonna go 26-20
Yeah,
Cardinals.
I like that. And I'm gonna just call my shot. Matt Prater, game-winning field goal.
So 2 game-winning field goals.
Yeah.
You got Fairburn and Matt
It's the year
Prater.
of the field goal. It really is.
It,
So many
we've
field
seen
goals.
some crazy shit. Yeah.
All right, Sunday Night Football. Doing it in prime time again. Chiefs, Falcons.
Ooh.
Not looking forward to this one. Because the Chiefs have figured something out, and Travis Kelce isn't even involved. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Like, the Chiefs really have something going. And I know the Bengals stayed close with them last week. And it really came down to the Bengals lost that game more than the Chiefs won. But I'm scared. I'm scared of Rashee Rice, honestly. That's the biggest thing. Because A.J. Terrell is going to let him catch the ball. I know that for a fact.
Rashee Rice has been rear-ending everybody he's played against.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that, like, he catches a pass and Jesse Bates just is underneath and just lights him the fuck up.
Yeah, that's not a player that I'd want to catch a slant and then.
No, I need Rashee Rice to lose his cleats, bro. Like,
oh God.
I need Jesse Bates firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, Jesse Bates is really he strives to give players CTE.
Yeah, and I respect the fuck out of it.
Oh man. I don't know. After what we saw against the Eagles, I think the Falcons definitely have a chance if that last drive is every drive.
Exactly. If Kirk Cousins goes into takeover mode, we're chilling. Yeah. That was vintage Matty Ice, dude. I felt like it was 2016 again watching that drive.
Yeah, and like you got to think too, like during free agency and leading up to the season, that's what Falcons fans were advertised to believe that they were going to see. They didn't see it against the Steelers, but that last drive against Philly was perfect. That's exactly what you guys were expecting, and if that continues, and y'all's defense stays the same, the Atlanta Falcons could genuinely compete with anybody in this league.
Yeah, and thank God Quinyon Mitchell did not get that interception. Oh,
yeah, I know.
That would have ended that game, unfortunately. But, dude, look, and I think Bijan is going to have his way. That's just because he does, like he always does. Like the run blocking of the Atlanta Falcons has been the best part of this team this year, far and away. I know the defenses look good, but the run blocking has easily been my favorite part to watch of this entire team. Pass block needs some help. I think Kirk's decision-making still needs a little bit of help. I know it wasn't nearly as bad against the Eagles last week, but it definitely, it could use some work. I do think the Falcons will be in this to the end, personally. And that's as biased as I could ever be. But the Chiefs letting the Bengals, and the way that the Bengals looked in that game, letting the Bengals stay in that, especially off the back of defensive improvements by the Bengals, is why I think the Falcons can stay in it. If Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing picks against the Bengals, this Falcons defense is going to look good against them too.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, because the Falcons defense is better than the Bengals defense, just flat out. It is. Now, Cam Taylor-Britt, I don't know if A.J. Terrell is going to be making a pick like that, but there are guys on this team that are difference makers all around the field, and I think we have at least a great pass rush that keeps up with the fact that Trey Hendrickson was like ending drives by himself last week. So I think the Falcons will stay in it. I can't convince myself to say that we're going to win.
Yeah, and I think for the Chiefs, what I think are the difference makers for them would be their defensive line are a bunch of angry, hungry animals.
Yeah.
And
Kirk their pass rush so bad with pressure.
Exactly. Of course, they did a lot better job against Philly, but the Kansas City Chiefs are a different breed when it comes to just their pass rush and
Yeah.
their that D line just stopping run in the pass. But another thing is I don't think you go 3 weeks in a row without really utilizing Kelsey. I feel like this is
Yeah.
probably a Kelsey game
And we
that
have
we're
a
about to watch.
relatively weak linebacker core. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the week that happens.
Exactly. But like I said, Atlanta has those utensils and those tools to really stay in this game. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction. Chiefs, Chiefs 24, Chiefs 27, Falcons 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna go Falcons 20, Chiefs 24. I think it'll be rather close. Even potentially. Okay, here I'm gonna lay this all out right now.
Okay.
So,
This is how it's going to go,
yes,
guys.
the Falcons are gonna be up um 20-17. Patrick Mahomes, let's say six. Let's go 2 minutes on the clock. He's gonna run the 2 minute drill to perfection and score a game winning touchdown.
Okay.
And it'll end 24. I guess theoretically they wouldn't have to kick the extra point, but they'll do it with time left on the clock or whatever. I don't know. Okay. Monday night doubleheader. We don't get to see these often. So 7:30, Jaguars Bills. This is so obviously the Bills by like a billion, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Jags have looked
Um,
so bad. Trevor Lawrence is the most boring quarterback right now.
yeah. I honestly, the only thing I have to say about this game is that I drafted Keon Coleman in 2 of my leagues.
Yeah. Well, don't you have Brian Thomas in one of them?
I do. I do like him a lot.
So that's a
He's
positive.
looked great.
Yeah, Brian Thomas has looked
Yeah.
great. Keon has not, that's for sure. But James Cook is unbelievable.
Damn. Yeah, he's been
Yeah, he's
awesome.
killing it. I just yeah, look, if I see what I expect from Josh Allen and James Cook, they're winning by like 15, 20, 21 points probably.
And kind of like with what the Chargers have done with their offense this year, we saw this a lot with Buffalo against Miami. In what world did you ever think Josh Allen would win a football game throwing the ball 19 times for a touchdown, but his team put up 31?
Yeah.
It's, I like,
It's defense,
even though
man.
you have defense and running backs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like how the Bills have adapted as well, which is something I kind of wish that they did sooner. But, even though James Cook got 11 carries, he was still a massive part of that win against
He
Miami.
scored
Obviously,
3 touchdowns in the first half.
Unbeatable. Yeah.
So
He's awesome.
Yeah, I don't see a single reason why the Bills won't win this game. Shout out Josh Allen Hines or whatever the hell his name is now, of the Jaguars. I'm hoping that he sacks Josh Allen. I just like that idea.
We do need that to happen.
And also, why did he have to change his name? I wanted there to be a defensive and an offensive Josh Allen.
If I had to guess, maybe like his mom passed away and he took her maiden name.
Well,
That's the only thing I
do
can
you
think
know
of.
that for a fact? Because if so, I'm gonna feel bad.
No,
Oh,
I do
okay.
not know that
Okay.
for a fact.
Okay.
But I just know that's what some people do.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I've never.
Sorry, I just kind of pulled that narrative out of my
Yeah.
ass, but that's kind of what I imagine. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Maybe.
put out conditional condolences. Josh Allen Hines, I think something like that. I don't even know how it's phrased.
I think it's
if
Hines Allen.
Hines Allen. Okay.
Yeah, Hines Allen.
If your mother has passed, sorry for your loss. If she has not, I'm sorry that Luke assumed that she had. He might have just not wanted to be associated every single time with the quarterback, Josh Allen.
No, no one died.
Okay.
It looks like it. He
That's
just
good.
wanted to pay like homage to his mom's side.
Got it.
So
Got it. All
there
right.
it goes.
Final score prediction: Bills 35, Jaguars 10.
Bills 28, Jaguars 10.
Okay. Final game of the week. Commanders, Bengals, Cincinnati, 7-point favorite. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to them again? Another touchdown home favorite. This is exactly what happened against the Patriots.
Yep.
Why are we giving them any faith? Like, why? Why do we have any faith in them to do anything? Stop.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Well, I guess they did look
We
good
should
against
not.
the Chiefs last week. They literally were a second away from winning because that safety got there a second too early.
Yeah. Yeah. And in typical Chiefs fashion, I was watching the game with my roommate Logan, and I don't know if you remember this play, but it got to like 4th down for the Chiefs, like midfield. And I literally looked at Logan. I was like, you know the script. Like, this is already a conversion. Incomplete pass. We both watch a flag go up in the air. And we just looked at each other.
Yeah,
That's
no,
like, of course.
I was watching that game, and I was just like, there's no way. And at first, I thought it was clean, too. And then immediately, they showed the replay. I was like, shit, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Because that put them right into Harrison Butker's range.
Yeah.
Like, I think he kicked like a 54-yarder for the win.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, look, I like the Commanders. I think if Brian Robinson Jr. looks good, they're going to look good. I think if Jaden Daniels continues to just grow as a player like he has over the last 2 weeks, then they're going to look good. I don't know what to expect from Cincinnati yet. I know T. Higgins was limited at practice today, which means he still probably won't be starting or even playing. But I don't know. Like, the Commanders don't have a good secondary, that's for sure. And yeah, it was good enough to hold the Giants to 18 points. They still gave up a touchdown, and Malik Neighbors had a really good game against them. So who's to say that Jamar Chase can't, or if T. Higgins plays, he can't, or shit, Jermaine Burton or Andre Yosivas. Like, I don't know. Any of these guys that they've been throwing out there at wide receiver could have a good game. And that could hurt them. That could really hurt the Commanders because this is an offense that's capable of doing more than just putting up like a touchdown and then just kicking field goals.
Yeah. I really like, though, what Jaden Daniels has been able to do with the Commanders, though. It's been really fun to watch him kind of get to learn. And, you know, as we both know, tight ends are their favorite targets for rookie quarterbacks. And Zach Ertz has looked like he did in 2017.
Yeah.
Which has been really cool.
Yeah.
I think your key for Washington, though, you have to get Terry McLaurin more involved, and I need some more deep completions.
Yeah, I think what really derailed that game last week for Jaden Daniels, he started off the game 9 for 9. Then he got ripped in the ribs. Like, he got so hit in the ribs, and he came out of the game for one play, goes back in the game, and then he does hit Terry McLaurin, but it really slowed down his trajectory. Like, that was the first quarter. He had already completed 9 passes. I think he only attempted, 21 or something across the entire game? Something like that?
29.
Okay, so he was kind of on pace for that. But I would have expected him to throw more in that situation, especially against the Giants, who don't have the best secondary.
Yeah.
But I think that rib injury kind of hurt him a lot, and he didn't run as much either. So
you got to pay attention to wear and tear.
Yeah.
Got to watch for that.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing I'm looking for from the Commanders is why is Austin Eckler even there?
3 receptions, 47 yards.
Do more. If he's okay, look, my expectations for Austin Eckler is either if you're not going to run well, you better be putting up Rachaad White numbers in the passing game.
Yeah, I like the reference there.
That's what we need. That's what I can't. I can't let him just get away with this.
To be fair, Austin Eckler did he had 80 yards total last week. That's not bad for kind of someone who doesn't get as much playing time as the guy ahead of him.
Yeah, but he probably should be. He probably should get more playing time.
Brian Robinson looked awesome.
No, I agree with
Giants,
that. Though. But I mean, if you're not passing or if you're not specifically running the ball, Eckler should be on the field a lot more than he was.
Yeah, I can,
because he's a fantastic passing option
for sure.
Okay, let's do final scores here. Um, I'm gonna. Oh man, I'm gonna take the Bengals. I don't think they'll cover. That's for sure. Um, I'm gonna take the Bengals 21, Commanders 17.
Um, okay, I'm gonna take Cincinnati 21, Commanders 14.
Okay. Okay. So you've got to push. I've got the Commanders covering. All right. That is NFL Week 3. Very
Hey,
interested to see how some of this goes. A lot of questionable games, but last week you probably could have said the same thing, and it got even crazier than I ever could have anticipated. So
both the NFL and college football are just it feels so wide open right now.
it does. It does. That is for
Unless
sure.
you're the Saints, because
Yeah.
then you're just
Yeah.
beating everybody.
Yeah. They've been breaking it wide open.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's all for NFL Week 3. So without further ado, let's get into an NFL, or sorry, not the NFL. We just stopped talking about the NFL. Let's get into an MLB recap. And we'll start off talking a little bit about the Brewers. First team this season to clinch their division. Congratulations to the Brewers.
Yeah, they really got hot late
Yeah, they've
in
just
the
been
season.
pretty consistent all the way through. But yeah, they definitely heated up here at the end of the season. They clinched the division because they have an 11-game lead over the Cardinals and Cubs. They're at
Yeah.
88 wins, which isn't even like that's the least out of any of the division leaders. At least in the National League, they're second least in the MLB because the Astros have only won 82 games and lead the AL West, which is the worst division right now in baseball. Despite the fact that the AL Central has the worst team almost potentially ever. They have the worst team potentially ever and a below 500 record as a total. We've talked about the stat before, but it's even more jarring as the season's gone on that like the Guardians, Royals, Twins, and Tigers all have 80 plus wins. And that division is still below 500 by like 20 games.
Yeah.
Because the White Sox are 36 and 117.
Yeah.
They would have to win 53 games in a row while all the other teams in their division lose all those games for them to take the lead of this division.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue there's a chance.
No, there's actually not.
Not enough games
If
left.
only
but,
the season was 200 games. If only.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd barely squeak by.
Isn't there like a situation going on where like the White Sox and Angels play each other a lot, and the White Sox are like obviously on the brink of having the worst season of all time, but the Angels, I think, are on the brink of having the worst season in franchise history, and they play each other like 6 or 7 times.
I don't know if we have
Before the
that many
season's up.
chances this season to see them beat each other up is probably a loosely used term. Let
see if I
me
can find
check.
it.
I think they just played okay. So yeah, they just played a 3-game set against the Angels. The Angels won the second and third game. The third game was the final and the 13th inning. The Angels won, and then they do play 3 more times before the end of the season.
Okay. Yeah.
The White Sox are so bad. They will be lucky to get to 40 wins. I'll say that right now. And they're only 4 away, and they've got like 10 games to play.
Yeah.
Let's
sure.
see. So yeah, the Brewers clinched that division, first division winner, and fun thing that they did during their celebration, the Brewers set aside non-alcoholic beers in a stroller for rookie Jackson Chourio, who is only 20 years old. So,
Man.
I love that move. Like I remember, I just dropped my chair down a ton. Okay, I thought my chair was way lower than normal this whole episode. It was.
Glad you figured that out.
Yeah, only an hour and 20 minutes into this episode, I figured it out. But yeah, they put non-alcoholic beers in a stroller for Jackson Chourio, which I love. I remember Juan
I
Soto.
hate that for him.
Yeah, Juan Soto was a fun one. When the Nationals made that World Series run, he was still underage until like halfway through the World Series. So he was like,
Oh,
he
wow.
stayed outside of the dugout or outside of the clubhouse while they celebrated all of the clinches. And then he got to come into the dugout for the World Series one because he turned 21 during the World Series.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Dude, wouldn't you hate to, like, have to miss out on that? Like, that
Oh my
sounds
god.
awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds awful, dude.
That would suck. The Yankees have clinched a playoff berth, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode.
Crazy game last night, too. That was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Yankees really, like, yes, they have 89 wins. They're one of the best records in the league. But they really lucked out with the fact that, like, the Orioles just keep killing themselves on the field, dude. Like, they can't figure
Yeah.
anything out. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Like, this was supposed to be a close battle all the way to the end at the start of this month. And all of a sudden, the Orioles have just died. Like, even since, like, I saw a stat, like, every, like, month, like, their projected win total dropped, like, 4 games or, like, 2 games or something. It's
Holy shit, wow.
unbelievable. It definitely wasn't 4 games, but I think it was, like, 1 or 2 every month.
Luckily for the Orioles, I thought that there was definitely room, with how bad they started playing. Boston probably could have done something about it.
Yeah, and
If
they
they also
did
kind
not.
of didn't hit a rut.
They did not do anything about it.
Yeah.
Next team that's likely to clinch, I believe, is the Phillies. I think they're the closest. As of right now, the Mets are kind of on a heater, winning 3 in a row. And the Phillies lost their last game. So we'll just have to kind of wait on that one. And then I believe, the Guardians have clinched a playoff spot. I'm just realizing. I think they clinched it today. But they have not clinched that division just yet because, like I said, that whole division has looked so good. And I think I have a little bit more to talk about that division a little bit later in the recap, so I
I
won't
have
go
a
in depth, but go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The Guardians right now are sitting 6.5 games ahead of the Royals, who are in second place right now.
Yes.
So they're probably going to clinch that division, right? Like, there's no way.
They probably
There's
will.
no way.
It would take an unprecedented comeback for the Royals to win that division, but it's not clinched. They'll probably clinch it
okay.
by like midway through next week, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They could even clinch it this weekend, depending on how the Royals play. Because I don't know what their two schedules look like. I know me and Colin have been doing this on the Monday episodes. But let's see. Yeah, and then the Royals, like, this could have been a whole lot closer. The Royals have lost their last 4 games because they got swept by Detroit. And that put Detroit
Oof.
back into a position. And shout out to Colin for this prediction. Colin said on Monday that the Tigers will be in it to the end and that they might even steal that last wild card spot. They just swept the Royals. So the Tigers do have a great chance now. But the Royals, they've got San Fran, Washington, and then they end the season with Atlanta, which is not a team I'd want to be playing in those last 3 games because Atlanta might also be in a position where they're playing to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, how are you feeling about y'all's current situation right now? Only a 1.5 game back from the Mets right now.
So if you asked me this on, let's say, Thursday, if you asked me this on Tuesday when we blew a, I think, 4-run lead, I think it was a 5-1 game, and then we lost 6-5, I would have told you, please end this as soon as possible. Then, these last 2 games, we figured something out. We've cracked the code. I don't know what happened. Yesterday, 7-1 victory. Today, 15-3.
Oh.
So I guess I want to keep seeing it. But right now, we're a game and a half behind the Mets, which does not look good. We need the Mets to start losing. We do have a series with them before the season ends. So, yeah, look, if the Braves want to make it in, I'm all for it. I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah.
And I'll be mad if we don't make the playoffs, considering we came into this season as the World Series favorite, literally the favorite. But who's to say, like, we should be able to go to Miami and sweep? It's a shame we only took 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. And it's a shame that we only took it was 2-2 in that Dodgers series. We've got to go sweep in Miami and just see what happens in New York.
There's definitely a possibility for that,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, I definitely agree. But we'll stop talking about schedule stuff, and you guys can come back for all that stuff after what happens over the weekend with me and Colin. But let's talk about this next thing, which I thought was crazy when I saw it. Marlins first round pick, PJ Morlando, which if you didn't know the name, you didn't hear any of our draft coverage because I chastised this pick. He suffered a season-ending injury in a weightlifting competition, which was organized by the team. It was organized by his team, one of the minor league teams, I would say probably rookie ball. One of their team officials during a rain delay on August 2nd, which was his first game in the organization. That sucks. Like, how unlucky is that? You get injured in a weightlifting competition organized by your team in a rain delay in your first professional game.
Yeah, that someone needs to get a talking to.
Yeah, I would assume somebody's getting fired. Luke, humor me real quick and pull up Emmanuel Clause's Baseball Savant page. And I just want to hear, I just want to hear your reaction.
Baseball Savant. Actually, what's crazy, before I'm blocking the part of my screen, before I even look at this, I haven't looked at Baseball Savant since when we were... What were we doing when I was using a lot of Baseball Savant?
Probably MLB...
At the end of last season.
Yeah, our positional rankings, our top fives.
That's exactly what it would have been. All right, I'm about to move my hand. Wow.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Wait a minute. What does that not qualified part mean for
I don't
fastball
know.
velo?
I don't know. I think it's that he hasn't thrown enough pitches. That's the only thing I could assume. I don't know why that not qualifies there. I'll say that.
Dude, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah, it is great. I think it's also he doesn't throw enough fastballs. That's what it is. Because he throws 78.2% cutters.
But his cutter is like 1,000,000 miles an hour too.
Yeah,
right?
no, his cutter is like 100 miles an hour. Yeah, his cutter average velo on the cutter 99.5. And he's thrown it 724 times this season.
Yeah, and he's not a guy that's going to pitch around you either.
No. For those at home, expected ERA 99th percentile, walk rate 99th percentile, ground ball rate 97th percentile, chase rate 98th percentile, average exit velo 92, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, both in 96th percentile. Unbelievable. Emmanuel Clase. Yeah. What a guy. And like, he's only improved every year. It's crazy. 2022, 42 saves. And that's coming off of a PED suspension after being before he got traded to the Guardians. 42 saves. Then 44 saves last year. This season, he's at 46. Probably in the season, probably close to like 48 or 50. Because the Guardians have some important games to play here to finish out the season. Especially if they don't clinch very soon. He'll probably end up with 48, I'd say.
Yeah.
And he's officially at 300 career strikeouts as well. He hit that in his last start. This guy's unbelievable.
And his ERA is much lower than it ever has been.
Oh, yeah. Well. A .63 ERA this season in 71 games. Unbelievable. And like the fact that it's 46 saves in 71 games? Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
That's wild.
And
he's one of my favorite players in the league for sure.
I just noticed this. He has the same ERA and whip. That's crazy.
Yeah, he does. Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah. And, whip is a pretty low number.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Let's talk about another guy who's unbelievable. Shohei Ohtani. Yesterday, he stole base 49 and is now at 48 and 49. It is getting there, folks. We are on 50-50 watch, which
yes.
I'll say it right now. If he gets 50-50, it's more impressive than 40-70. I hate to say that, but it is. It is. It
not
is.
Your boy.
No, I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to do that to Ronald Acuna. But 50-50 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, that is truly another level. Because, like, Nobody's even gotten close. Nobody had even gotten 43 and 43.
Yeah.
And if he gets 50-50, that's truly unheard of.
Man, these kids out here running around, man, they're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely
Let
crazy.
me see Shohei's numbers. I don't know how today's game went. Oh, sorry. After today's game, stat correction, he is now at 49 and 51. 49 home runs, 51 stolen bases. Holy shit. So
he just needs one more home run.
I guess so. Yeah. I believe he had let me pull up their game from today real quick and just double check my statistics. Oh, they're still playing actually. It's the bottom of the 6th. Shohei might do it while we're on this podcast.
Against Miami too. Don't do it to him.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, Shohei is 4 for 4 in this game with a with a home run and 2 stolen bases and a double and a single. Okay, he's also 2 doubles, a single, and a home run. So if he doesn't want if he doesn't want the home run, he could just go for the cycle.
I guess I'll settle for the cycle.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be fucking phenomenal. He's chasing the final home run for 50-50 and he hits for the cycle. It's unreal. Yeah, Shohei is not human. All right, let's talk about this next thing. I just thought this was kind of interesting. Juan Soto is going to be the first player in MLB history to appear in a postseason game for 3 different teams before turning 27, and he's only 25.
Weird.
Yeah. This guy's the youngest journeyman of all time.
He also he recently just hit a home run in every ballpark.
Yeah.
As well.
Which is also very impressive at this stage in his career, but it's also because he's played on so many teams already.
What he said about it though has a lot of Yankees fans wondering. I think he said in a press conference, he's like, "Yeah, it's exactly what you want to do when you're going into free agency." No. I'm just kidding. I think he's going to sign, but that's pretty wild that he said that. You don't think he's going to sign?
I think he's so gone.
Grayson, don't put that in my head,
if you guys win a World Series, he's definitely gone. I'll tell you that much.
All right, so we lose. Lock him up, win.
You heard Luke.
That's the plan.
You heard Luke. Would you rather have Juan Soto for the next 5 years or a World Series this year? You could always win him later. You could always win him later.
Oh. I think with the team that we have now, we could take not losing a winning a World Series this year to keep Juan Soto for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you don't think Volpe could pick up the slack of him leaving?
we need to just call over some of the Italian families in the area and get them to start funding some, doing some stuff.
Yeah. Somebody will call up Tony Soprano.
Maybe knocking on the door of Juan Soto's mom.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's not.
Sorry.
We're not going to offend 2 moms. We're not offending 2 moms in this episode. I'm sure Miss Soto is a lovely
stay away
woman.
from. I'm sure she is too. Stay away from her.
Yes, leave her alone. Okay.
Leave her alone.
The Tigers, they swept the Royals. Like I said earlier, Tigers are now half a game behind for that 3rd wild card spot. Beginning of this week, they were like 3.5 games out, and then they sweep the Royals. All of a sudden, they're right back in it.
What a crazy time to sweep somebody.
What an insane
for the
division.
Rays. Yeah, wild division.
The AL Central with 4 teams over 80 wins, and one of them happens to be the Guardians, who have been like the surprise team of the year.
Yeah.
Like I knew that the Royals were going to be good. I think I had the Twins in my World Series prediction, and then I had the Tigers, I think, in 3rd place in this division, and I had the Guardians in 4th. Like, that's insane. And the White Sox are still weighing them all down.
Yeah, I think I was with you. I want to say I had the Tigers winning, but the Guardians were not going to be as good as they are now.
No.
I was completely wrong on that.
No. Shout out to Stephen Vogt. I think he's shoe-in manager of the year in the AL, 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I feel like that's still something that people should be talking about more is
Yeah,
that like it's a
first
new
year manager,
guy.
and it's
Yeah.
much different in the MLB for a first year manager because typically a first year manager means that the last manager was so bad and that the team was
Yeah.
so bad, and the Guardians were not good last year, but he's just replacing a retired Terry Francona. So I don't know. It is a little bit different circumstances, but still unbelievable by Stephen Vogt, who's never been a manager. I think he's only been like a
It's
hitting
wild.
coach for like the last like years since he retired, and then he just got a
Yeah.
manager job. Like it's crazy.
Shout
Um,
out, man.
how about Ellie De La Cruz? We kind of slowed down talking about him as much this year, but he's on pace to become the first player to lead the MLB in both strikeouts and stolen bases in the same season.
Love
This
that.
is exactly what he does. If you watch a Reds game, you'll see both of those things happen. 100%.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, like he's got to be what, close to the 90s in steals if I had to guess.
I got a baseball question for you.
Please.
Would you say a person that strikes out a lot is that something that's easy to figure out, or
No.
if you're a guy who strikes out a lot, are you going to continue to be a guy who strikes out a lot?
You can change, but it's going to affect the rest of your offense. Like the rest of your offensive game is going to change if you go from a strikeout guy to not a strikeout guy.
In what way?
You're not nearly going to hit for as much power. Almost guaranteed.
Okay.
Just because a lot of guys that are striking out a lot is because they're swinging so much harder. Either their bat speed is way up or hand speed, whatever, and their swing and miss rate is way higher because they're trying to hit the ball as hard as possible. The guys that shorten it up, which like the thing is like there's obviously the extremes. There is the LA De La Cruzes who swing for the fences every time, and he's hit 24 home runs, which is a respectable number. But there's also Luis Arias, who goes up there and does it as well, better than anybody, honestly, just getting hits. Yes, they're almost
Yeah.
always singles, but he gets hits and he doesn't strike out at all.
Yeah.
So you tell me, would you rather have Elliot De La Cruz, who's just certainly an exciting player and a fun player to watch, or Luis Arias, who is as consistent as they come at the plate, more than consistent?
I guess I would rather have a Luis Arias, but then again, like, you know, in a starting lineup, you might want guys that are swinging as hard as they
Yeah,
fucking
that's
can,
why
no
you
matter
balance
what.
it out. That's why Giancarlo Stanton
Fair.
exists.
Yeah,
That's
that
why,
is true.
look, Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge are the complete opposite type of power hitter. Because if Aaron Judge doesn't hit a home run, he probably hit a double or a single. If Giancarlo Stanton doesn't hit a home run, he probably struck out.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one to think about. Nonetheless, let's talk about Acuna, Luis Angel Acuna, who got promoted by the Mets. He got promoted by the Mets 6 days ago. He's now 5 games into his career, and has been a big part of this Mets offense. He's already homered 2 games in a row. These last 2 games he's played, he's homered, and has 7 hits and 15 at bats. So a damn good start for Luis Angel Acuna, who I believe is playing short, replacing Francisco Lindor, who's been injured.
Dude, he looks exactly like Acuna.
Yeah. Well, he is Acuna.
They are definitely brothers.
We're going to have to start saying Ronald and Luis Angel.
Yeah, because
We can't just call him Acuna now, because his brother's good as hell.
He was born March 12th, 2002.
Older than me by
Wow.
a year.
Yeah. Older than me by a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like almost as soon as Ronald came up, or like as soon as he really started showing up, like Luis Angel got signed to a minor league deal by the Rangers, I believe. And then he was part of the trade for Max Scherzer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
Shout out to the Acuna brothers.
Yeah. And so the funny thing about Luis Angel's first career home run is in the clubhouse after the game to celebrate. They put him into like one of the clubhouse carts, like the laundry cart, and then poured beer all over him. And they asked him to give a speech in English. He doesn't speak good English. And the only thing that everybody could understand and got the whole clubhouse fired up was him saying, "Let's fucking go."
Oh man,
which is
Love
awesome.
love that.
Yeah, that's great. Let's switch it back to the pitching side. Tarek Skubal versus the Royals. Not his longest outing, but 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and he got the win. He threw 95 pitches, but brought his ERA down to 2.48. So he retains the lead in ERA in the MLB. And then he has I believe in the AL. I don't know if it's the MLB, but he does lead the AL in wins and strikeouts. I don't know what it looks like on the full league standpoint, if he's leading in all the Triple Crown categories for the whole league. But right now he does have the Triple Crown for the AL.
I'm gonna do a quick check right here.
Yeah.
He's behind Chris Sale on ERA by 0.10.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Which I think Sale has probably 2 more starts in him. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, but Chris Sale,
Unbelievable.
why is Chris Sale in 2024 leading the MLB in ERA?
I don't know, but I'm glad.
I love him.
Why
man.
couldn't the Braves
That's so
be
cool.
better?
Yeah,
Like,
y'all
why are
have,
we not
y'all have been a
better?
hospital this year.
Yeah,
It's been
fucking-
brutal, man.
God,
Like
yeah.
when I went to that Braves game a couple weeks ago, I was genuinely surprised. I was like, this is not at all the lineup that I'm
Yeah,
accustomed
dude,
to.
you watched
from
Gio
these guys.
Urshela and Whit Merrifield.
Yeah,
And now Whit
I don't even
Merrifield,
remember who was catching
Whit
that game.
Merrifield got hurt, and fucking Kevin Biggio is playing.
No way.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was a Brave.
He got picked up off waivers like a couple weeks ago, like a week or 2 ago.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how weird of the season this is. And I think Michael Harris had like 2 or 3 home runs today. He had a hell of a game. The Orioles have DFA'd Craig Kimbrell. Now all of Twitter can stop crying about how bad Craig Kimbrell is.
I have a crazy stat about him that I saw earlier. Hopefully I remember this right, but like I saw this stat where in like his last maybe it was like 10 or 7 outings, he is allowed 10% of his earned runs.
Damn.
Of his entire career. Yeah.
Damn. Dude, the Orioles, if they had Felix Bautista this season, we'd be having a whole lot of different conversations about the AL East.
Oh, yeah.
So many games late where it was blown by Craig Kimbrell. Even Yenier Cano had some shaky outings when he was closing. Like, so many times where this whole bullpen would have benefited from King Felix being there. King Felix Jr. I hate calling him.
I totally forgot about Yenier Cano.
Yeah.
We were gawking over him last year. I haven't heard him at all this season.
No, because he's just been fine. That's
fine.
what happens. You either got to be real bad, like Craig Kimbrell, or real good, like Emmanuel Clase, if you're a relief pitcher, especially, for us to talk about you.
Yeah, I think speaking of relief pitchers, Clay Holmes tied the Yankee record for most blown saves in a single season. He's at 13.
Way to go, Clay. Big
Love
numbers.
That. He blew the save last night.
Nice.
And then we won the game.
Congrats.
Yeah. He actually came in the 8th inning. I don't even think he's the closer anymore.
Oh, wow. We might get Shohei on base here in the 7th inning. We'll see. But I'll be flipping back and forth just in case.
Please,
okay.
We need a live at bat for him.
Yeah. So the White Sox are bad. We've stated that probably every single time we've gotten on this podcast for the entire season. And even the social media team has given up.
Oh, no.
The final score. Typically, a team would post like a little graphic, whether they win or lose, just giving out the final score. Their tweet for their last game just said final in all caps, : the other team scored more runs than us.
Oh, God.
That's what it's come to. Well, you better learn Nashville. You better start learning Nashville, boys.
Yeah. Better switch it to y'all instead of you guys.
Yeah, Luis Robert is going to be called Robert a whole lot. Lewis Robert.
Yeah, Lewis
My
Robert,
favorite
baby.
center fielder in the MLB. Yeah, that's all I had to say about the White Sox. Dylan Cease, unbelievable. He really is unbelievable. Versus the Houston Astros, 8.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts, and 103 pitches. Like, he wasn't even striking them out like he typically would.
What was the score of that game?
I believe a shutout by the Padres, but I will fact check. Yes, 4-0.
Man, let him go the whole game.
I think he was at like 100 something pitches. Yeah, he was at 103 pitches. And I think he gave up one of his hits in that inning. And also, I'm pretty sure Xander Bogaerts had a horrible error that led to some people moving around the bases. They didn't score, but in that 9th inning, he fucked up.
Xander Bogaerts does not like helping out Dylan
Dude,
Cease.
he is a liability at shortstop. I've been saying this since he was a Red Sox. He is not a good defender whatsoever. Last 2 things, not too important at the moment, but Charlie Culberson announced his retirement from baseball yesterday after 11 years in the majors. And shout out to Charlie Culberson. I read a great article by Justin Toscano, who's like the Braves beat reporter for the AJC. Great article talking about all the stuff that he's done and what he's gotten to do now that he's kind of hung it up. He's got 3 kids. I've seen Charlie a number of times while I've been at work, and he also owns a travel ball organization and training facility up in Rome where he lives. So yeah, Charlie is a great guy. I've gotten the chance to meet him, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, shout out to Charlie Culberson, because that guy, whether or not the casual MLB fan knows him, Braves fans for sure will always remember him. And he will definitely be a guy that is kind of the hometown hero. He went to Calhoun High School, so he's a local guy. So I have the utmost respect for Charlie Culberson. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, shout out Charlie.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Last thing, on the opposite end, that was a nice story. This is the complete opposite. Julio Urias needs to be locked up forever. I saw the video. The video came out of what happened that night when he got arrested. Boy,
No way.
I need him locked the fuck up. So if anybody doesn't remember, so the LA Times got a hold of this video. It was a witness video that was taken by them by whatever those things are, like public record requests or whatever the hell they call them. So they got the video that this person took of it, and his wife is like walking ahead of him, leaving an LAFC game last September, and he like ran it, like you could tell they're yelling at each other, but then he chases her down, and this is very graphic. So if you're not too versed, if you do not like to hear these kinds of stories about domestic violence, I would tell you to skip this. He pushes her up against a fence and like is pushing her against this fence that is like falling down. Like it's a temporary fence. He then gets like separated by somebody and swings at her. I don't believe he hit her on that swing, but that doesn't change the fact that he is a horrible human being. I can tell you're watching it right now. Yep, there's the reaction. Horrible. Horrible.
Thank God there were other people there, bro.
Yeah.
Because if he connected with that punch was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that guy.
Yeah, put him in jail.
I don't really have much else to say. Yeah,
and it's crazy because
that's
he pled no contest to a misdemeanor domestic battery. He's not in jail right now. But the MLB is still investigating his case, and they were supposed to be coming to a conclusion soon. Now that this video's out there, he's got to get at least a extremely lengthy suspension or banned.
Yeah, I think banned.
And look, I'm sure there's probably guys that have gotten away with worse because it wasn't on video and whatnot. This is clear as day. You see the video.
Yep.
And look, you're probably thinking, well, what about Marcelo Ozuna? I didn't see a video of him doing it. That's all I have to say. Look, even if he did do it, he's a horrible person. If he didn't do it, it's whatever. But I watched this one happen, and I can't live with that.
No.
That's horrible.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Very
so
bad.
Put Julio Urias in prison. Okay. Anything you've got for the MLB? That's all I have.
No, I had nothing. But I did want to run through the postseason picture with you guys as it stands right now. What should we start with, Grayson? NL or AL?
AL.
Okay. Your first seed in the AL is the Yankees, followed by the Guardians in the 2 seed. Your wild card games would be the Astros versus the Twins, and then the Royals versus the Orioles. Over on the NL side, the Phillies, obviously the first seed. The Dodgers are right behind them at 2. Your wild card games would be the Mets, Padres, and then the Brewers and Diamondbacks. So it's setting up nicely right now, but I think this is going to change for sure.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani is up to bat right now.
Okay.
We had a wild pitch. Gavin Lux just scored on a wild pitch. Shohei Ohtani just hit home run number 50.
You kidding?
Oh,
you're joking
God,
right now.
No, 391 feet to left field. Shohei Ohtani has just recorded the first ever 50-50 season. Live on second and short. How about
Shout
it?
out.
How about it?
Shout out.
5 for 5 in this game.
And the cycle. He hit for the cycle as well. Did he not? No?
Still needs a triple.
Oh, he still needs a triple. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how about it? The first 50-50 season in MLB history. And we got it right here.
In the middle of a recording.
Yeah. In the middle of a recording. Well, if that isn't a sign for what is to come, we've still got a great episode left. There's still some time left to have a great episode. So why don't we just do that? And we'll switch gears real quick, and let's maybe pick up the pace here. That's on me as well. But let's get into the Premier League. We'll start Spurs versus Brentford. This one an interesting matchup just because Brentford is relatively playing much above expectations, I would say. I didn't see them being in this position, especially with the uncertainty of Ivan Toney coming into the year. And Spurs has looked very shaky, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think they've lost their last 2 matches now, and find themselves in 13th place. Obviously, look, we're 4 matches into the season. 13th place is not going to stand. But Brentford sitting in 9th place right now, coming off of an obvious loss to Man City, but it was closer than it should have been, 2-1. They beat Southampton. Obviously, they should have beat. They lost to Liverpool, and they've beat Crystal Palace. So, look, they're winning the games they should win. They're losing the games that they should lose. I don't know what they should do against Tottenham. I don't know if they should win or lose.
Yeah, you know, Tottenham hadn't had it easy, though. Like, Newcastle is still a formidable opponent, and so is Arsenal, you know, your North London derby there. So I really have no idea what to think about this game, but like you said, Tottenham, regardless of, you know, losing to good opponents, they're a team that should be able to compete and win some of these games, which they haven't this season.
Yeah.
Your only win is to Everton, and your draw was to Leicester, who just got promoted.
Yeah. And Everton hasn't won a game yet. I don't think they have any points, actually.
No points. And yeah, you're right. This is kind of a weird game. This is sort of hard to analyze here.
It is.
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Brentford. I think a 2-1 versus Man City is pretty telling. Like that, you know, you're not just a complete pushover this season. So
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and then, you know, the Liverpool 2-0 game, Liverpool in August was the best team on the planet.
Yeah.
So, you know, hard to do something about them. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction very quickly here.
Yeah.
Brentford 1-1 draw.
Okay. You were really close.
Yeah, I was.
Brentford is a little bit beat up right now. Johan Wissa is going to be out for, I think, like 2 months, and he's their leading goal scorer thus far this year. Meanwhile, Spurs still a little bit banged up, not quite as bad as, they have been in the past. I'm going to go with Tottenham to get the win. I'm going to go 1-0 Tottenham. Just think Brentford's injuries are a little bit touchy. Going to be a bit of a problem. But we'll move on to the next game. And interestingly enough, it's Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. These are 2 of the 5 teams that are unbeaten right now in the Premier League. How about Nottingham Forest?
I don't like Brighton. I do not like Brighton. That's how I feel about Nottingham Forest. I don't like Brighton.
Okay. Yeah, look, Brighton have gotten away with 2 draws in their last 2 games. One against Arsenal, which was a little bit more warranted, but a 0-0 draw against Ipswich, not okay. Yeah. Not at all what you want to see. And look, they were coming out of an international break, which could be a little bit of a problem, but not at all what you want to see. These 2 teams, both 2 wins, 2 draws for them. And Nottingham Forest, they drew Bournemouth in the opening day. They beat Southampton. They drew Wolves, and they beat Liverpool. What the hell?
Yeah, I have no idea. That Liverpool game was so surprising.
Yeah.
So
it
surprising.
Was odd for sure.
Yeah, and it came from Callum Hudson-Odoi, the old Chelsea project there. So shout out to him. Another game. I don't know how you managed to do this, but you managed to pick the most confusing games to talk about for this week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything?
I think for me,
lost.
the goal scoring ability of Brighton is always there, and that's what draws me into them. Like, they've scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches in all competitions. Obviously they've
2
won,
goals per game there.
Yeah, like they're unbeaten in 5 home games. Nottingham Forest only scoring 1 goal per match in their last 5 matches. I feel like, to me, Brighton just makes a little bit more sense. And they're coming off of a midweek victory in the Carabao Cup or whatever it is, FA Cup. I don't even know. I can't keep up with which one it is. But I do think Brighton has their goal scorers in line right now to where they'll probably pull away with this one. I'm going to go Brighton 2-1.
Looking at Forest, their past games, it's been a 1-1 draw, 1-0 win, 1-1 draw, 1-0 win.
That's why I said 1. They're going to score 1.
The defense is there. They're going to score 1. So I'm kind of feeling like a 2-1 Brighton, but also I might have to go with another 1-1 draw. Because Forest defense is there.
Look,
so 1-1 draw.
Yeah, look, this is going to make up for later in the year when we don't predict a single draw for like 10 weeks.
Yeah. I think, I'm going to take a 1-1 draw again.
Okay. All right. And then we've got a big one as well on Sunday. So there's 2 games on Sunday, and it happens to be that Brighton Nottingham Forest match and then Man City versus Arsenal. Big matchup because these are 2 of the other unbeaten teams right now in the Prem. The only other one, Newcastle, they're taking on Fulham. I have no opinions personally. Erling Haaland has scored 9 goals in the Premier League already. That's a problem.
That's a major problem.
We're 4 games in.
Dude, it's literally you're taking like what legends like Alan Shearer have done. Just like it was nothing.
Yep.
It's not like it was a record that stood for 20 plus years. It's unfair.
It is. And the thing is, it's like Erling Haaland looks like an idiot outside of the box.
Yeah.
He genuinely does. Like, he looks like a dumbass if the ball is at his feet and he's not in the box. But the
Roy Keane really put that monkey on his back.
Yeah, and he was right. he was right. So right, dude. And even like, and it's gotten to the point where like, we're going to talk about the UCL in a couple of minutes, but it was a 0-0 draw with Inter this week for Man City, and Jamie Carragher and Thierry Henry had some shit to talk about Erling Haaland. He just can't.
I didn't hear
can't do anything outside the box.
Yeah,
and you can't have that out of your striker.
Unless he's getting 9 goals.
But like the thing is like there's been prolific goal scorers, obviously not on his level, at least depending on who you're asking, but they could all make a run. And they could all find a pass. He can't. Yeah. I don't know why, but he cannot. And he's a young player, too. I think we also look over that, too. He's like 22 years old. 23.
Yeah.
Like, he's got time to develop. And in the meantime, yeah, he might just break Alan Shearer's records over and over and over again every year. And he might just become the all-time goal scorer by the time he figures out how to play outside the box.
To keep it on Holland, what do you think it would look like if he was on a different team that wasn't the best team in the world?
I think he would continue to score goals, but he wouldn't have the playmaking.
Yeah.
Like if he didn't have Kevin De Bruyne, and which Kevin De Bruyne is doubtful with a groin injury for this game, but if he didn't have Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri and all these guys feeding him perfect passes, he would not be anywhere near this.
Yeah.
Now, he'd still score goals. He'd still probably be a top 5 goal scorer in the league. But he's not going to lead every single year. And on the Arsenal side, they're not scoring goals. But they're winning games. They're just not scoring goals.
Yeah, they're kind of one of those where they look good, but then again, it's like, you guys are kind of scraping.
Yeah, and they had a 0-0 draw against Atalanta today. That's inexcusable. But I will say, I think they were kind of resting people for this match that's coming up.
Oh, wow. You know what I just realized that I didn't earlier?
What?
Raheem Sterling has already come on the field for Arsenal. He did against Tottenham.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, he came on late in the game against Atalanta. Actually, I said that they weren't starting their best. This is probably the lineup that you will see on Sunday.
Against Atalanta?
Yeah.
Let me go look at that one because I was looking at Tottenham.
It was Martinelli, Jesus, Saka up front. The midfield was Rice, Thomas Partey, and Havertz. And then your back line was Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White with Raya in goal. That's their lineup.
Dude, the lineup I saw against Tottenham was a 4-4-2, and Trossard and Kai Havertz were your strikers.
Yeah, exactly.
No shit, you only scored 1 goal. And it was from Gabriel. You know, I think this one's probably the easiest game to talk about out of the 3.
Which is crazy.
I'm gonna go Man City. Yeah. I'm gonna go Man City 2-0.
Okay, I'm gonna go Man City.
I think they're gonna clean sheet Arsenal.
3-0.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking dominance here. Man City's gonna want some get back after this midweek match. Because Inter looked phenomenal. I'll give them the credit for that. And so we'll go ahead and talk about the Champions League. Might as well, or actually, sorry, we'll talk about the rest of the games real quick that are in the schedule. You got West Ham Chelsea at 7:30 in the morning. You gonna be up for that one? Saturday?
I'll watch the highlights 4 hours later.
And then a bunch of 10 o'clock games. You got Villa versus Wolves, Fulham versus Newcastle, Leicester versus Everton, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Southampton versus Ipswich, and Spurs versus Brentford. Your standalone game in the afternoon, Crystal Palace at versus Man United. Then on Sunday, it's the 2 games we just talked about. Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Man City, Arsenal. Now,
all right,
we can talk about the Champions League. And a lot of underwhelming games, I would say, looking at final scores. But I do have like some notes on some of the bigger things that have happened. But we'll just kind of go through the games, and I'll just hit on the notes that I have as we go. So let me pull up all these final scores because I closed the tab on accident. Not the only person doing that on this episode, Luke. So don't feel too bad.
At least yours wasn't Discord.
That's true. At least mine didn't fundamentally change the way that the episode went. Okay, so we'll go through Tuesday's matches real quick. You had Juventus 3-1 over PSV. Thiago Motta's squad looking dominant to start off. Then you had Aston Villa 3-0 over Young Boys. That was a big victory that I wanted to see out of them. Obviously, Young Boys not a powerhouse or anything, but I wanted to see Villa look good in the Champions League to start. It helps their momentum for sure going forward. Bayern Munich, not fucking around. They beat Dinamo Zagreb 9-2. They were not playing. A lot of different goal scorers in this match too. So you had goals for Bayern, specifically 4 of them coming from Harry Kane. And then you had Guerrero scored. You had Olise with a brace. And then Sané and Goretzka scoring. Goretzka being an asshole, scoring in the 90th +2. Up 8-2.
Wow.
You're up 8-2. And also, at one point in this match, it was 3-2. After the 50th, until the 57th minute when Kane scored his second goal, it was 3-2. So this was a close one at one point.
There were 5 goals in like 57 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like more specifically, from Kane's 73rd minute goal, that was there was 3 more goals after that. He scored another one 5 minutes later, and then Sane scored in the 85th, and then Goretzka in the 90th +2. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you had Liverpool 3-1 over Milan, AC Milan, to be exact. Pretty good victory to see from Liverpool, honestly. I was kind of looking for a good showing from them out the gates, and they had a good one against a pretty good team.
After Nottingham Forest as well. That looked really good.
Yeah, yeah. Real Madrid took care of Stuttgart 3-1. Nothing crazy there. And Sporting Lisbon 2-0 over Lille, and Lille also got a red card. Then on to your Wednesday games, as I predicted, Bologna did not look good. 0-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk. And then how about Sparta Praha showing up and showing out? 3-0 victory over Salzburg. And in that match, Sparta Prague has not played Sparta, whatever. They have not played in the UCL in 19 years. Okay?
Really?
Yes. And it took them 2 minutes to get on the board in this match.
I love to see that.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's Sparta Praha on UCL's website, Sparta Prague to like everybody else. So I'm just going to call them Sparta. Next match, Borussia Dortmund 3-0 over Club Brugge. This one was, I believe, 0-0 until the 76th minute when Jamie Beno Gittens, who I'd never even heard of, I'll hand up, never heard of that guy, for Dortmund, opened the scoring in the 76th minute. And then 10 minutes later in the 86th minute, scored again with a great run into the box, which was followed by a beautiful finish to get the brace. And then they added on a third goal before the end of the match. Great showing for Dortmund. Obviously, it's weird because you want to place high expectations on this team, but it is textbook different from how they looked last year. No Eden Terzic as the manager, no Marco Reus there, no, I believe Mats Hummels left as well this summer. Like totally different.
Füllkrug.
Yeah, no Füllkrug. Totally different Dortmund squad than we saw last year, but the expectations are still there, and they showed up. Celtic, what a beatdown. 5-1 over Bratislava. Just not even thinking about messing around with that when they scored their second goal of the match in the 47th minute and still won 5-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then you had Man City Inter, which sparked a lot of conversation. Like I said, this led to that conversation, Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher kind of talking about Erling Haaland's inefficiencies and shortcomings with the ball at his feet. Interestingly enough, so Peter Schmeichel was there. He does a lot of sideline reporting for them. He was at that match. There was a whole match in Manchester. And Pep Guardiola said he was so happy after the game, talking to Peter Schmeichel. He said he was so happy and that he loved the way that the team played in that match. And they dominated. They should have won.
Mm-hmm.
But how could you be happy when you couldn't finish in front of the goal at all in this game?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I thought Pep was a maniac.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be kind of upset.
Yeah, I thought so too. And also Peter Schmeichel added that there was absolutely no atmosphere at this stadium. What a surprise. They will never beat the allegations of being called the empty head.
Hey, and where did the Great Dane play? Where did the Great Dane play?
Yeah, I know.
See, you can't take the red out of everybody, brother. I love it.
Yeah, that's true.
The empty head, baby.
The other thing that they talked about a little bit, and it involved Man City, so we'll go ahead and talk about it. Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher also had a lot to say kind of about the busy calendar. We've heard a lot of stuff about this all summer, really, with like calendar congestion, as people are calling it. You have an expanded Champions League where these guys are playing so many games. You obviously have all the league games these guys are playing. You have multiple domestic tournaments in every country. You have international breaks throughout. Like Jamie Carragher was, I think he said, like, what is the point of the UEFA Nations League? I agree. What are you doing? And the same thing. Who the fuck cares about the FIFA Club World Cup?
Yeah.
Like, really, who gives a shit? All they do is what? They put a patch on their jersey for the rest of the year that nobody cares about?
Exactly, yeah.
Just because they like beat some weird team that won like the United Arab Emirates League.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Every
It's
time.
bizarre.
It's the weirdest
It is
tournament.
really bizarre.
Yeah. But so they laid out how many games Rodri could play. Obviously, he's a guy that plays almost every match for his teams. And obviously, he's coming off of a loaded summer playing in the Euros. Then in the 2024-2025 season, I think he's already missed one game in the Prem. So he could be potentially playing 35 Prem games, 17 Champions League games, 6 FA Cup, 6 EFL Cup, 7 Club World Cup, and 8 international games.
Yeah, that's a lot on the human body.
79 games in the 2024-25 season.
And now with the calendar congestion, we can say things like, luckily for Rodri, he was hurt the month of August.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's unbelievable.
It's wild. It is wild. Yeah,
but it is so crazy that the guys are being forced to play that many games. I think it's unbelievably bad. But yeah, 0-0 draw for them. And then PSG pulling out just barely in the nick of time, a 1-0 victory over Girona, a 90th minute winner for PSG.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I did predict that one as a good match, as one to watch.
Yeah.
When we did that first thing about the draw, and it was an own goal that won them the match. I will not be saying the player's name. Feel free to look at the score sheet, but the last syllable will not be said from my mouth.
Oh crap!
Yep.
Gaza. We'll call him Gaza.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out Paul Gascoigne, however you say that last name. Okay. Thursday's matches, which have happened today, obviously. You had Benfica 2-1 over Red Star Belgrade. You had a big-time 4-0 victory for Leverkusen over Feyenoord, which is a good sign for them. You had that 0-0 draw between Arsenal and Atalanta that we already talked about. Atleti, a 2-1 win over Leipzig. It was a very close match. Kind of excited. I haven't really looked into this game much because I think it went final right before we started. Yeah, you had goals from Griezmann and actually Jimenez scoring in the 90th minute for the winner.
Oh, wow.
You had Sesko score an opening goal in the 4th minute to get the lead early for Leipzig, I think it's Shesko, but I've said Sesko. And yeah, so shout out Atletico Madrid getting that late win, and Monaco pulling off the upset over Barcelona, 2-1. Barcelona got a red card in this match as well.
Ter Stegen totally gave his teammate that red card. I don't know if you saw the clip, but it was he made a bad pass where the defender pretty much had no other choice. And that's exactly what happened. But Yamin Lamal, double L.
Lamine Yamal. I do the same thing.
Lamine Yamal.
There we go.
Scored his first Champions League goal.
Yeah. 28th minute goal for him, which made it 1-1 at the time.
Yeah, but Barcelona, I've talked to you about it before. I don't know if I've really said it on the podcast, but they're such a fucking joke. I'm tired of them.
But they're scoring a shitload of goals in La Liga right now.
Yes, they are. Somehow.
Yeah. But look, Barcelona, they would have won this game, but they were playing with 10 men for 79 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's brutal.
You should watch that red card. It is brutal mistake by Ter Stegen, not the defender's fault at all.
Yeah, and then we had the same outcome. The French team winning 2-1 over the team that got the red card. Brest 2-1 over Sturm Graz in the final match that happened this week. And what's nice is we don't have to talk about any of the games next week. So that's just kind of the end of the Champions League, because next week we will talk about the games because they don't happen until October 1st.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we got CBS Sports Golasso 3 days.
Yeah,
this week.
Yeah, and how about the announcement they made on the first one for the second legs of the knockout round? I think it's all the knockout round matches. The second legs will be multicasted with like a David Beckham and Friends broadcast, as well as the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Where he'll be bringing on soccer players, celebrities, blah blah blah, to join him in the booth, which I think is fun.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I feel like
what they're
oh, go ahead.
what they're doing over there is amazing for like sports media. It is so entertaining.
Yeah,
so entertaining.
Yeah, what I love more is that it's they're all in America.
Yeah,
they're doing all of this from America, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, wild.
And shout out to Kate. She got married, changed her name.
Yeah,
Kate
and
Scott.
Thierry's been treating her different, bro. I'm telling you, he's upset about it.
No, he should. I'm mad. I'm not. That was the only time I'm ever gonna call her Kate Scott. She's always gonna be Kate Abdo. Sorry, or Henri if she wants to.
Yeah,
I'm on your side, TT. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry, man. I'm on your side. All right. I think that's the end of the Champions League discussion, and let's go ahead and get into Champions League. Let's get into questions time. Jesus, I'm struggling at this point in the episode, man. We've already gone long. It's already 2:15 into this episode. We're in overtime right now. It's overtime, and it's also questions time. So, Nathan kindly submitted more questions. And the first one: will you be playing Black Ops 6? I think Nathan's gonna force me into it, so I guess so.
Should I do like one of the movement things that I've seen from the game? Should I just destroy my whole apartment because it actually looks really fun, but it probably was going to be one of those games.
I'm never gonna figure out.
Yeah, I don't get it.
No, I don't game like that anymore. Like, look, okay, tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna download FIFA because I have early access.
Ooh,
but I don't know if I'll ever figure out this new movement in Call of Duty. I haven't even tried. I didn't play the beta. I have no idea. I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. I didn't play the beta. I don't know. It just came out weird in my eyes. Yeah, I didn't play the beta. I don't know how the game feels whatsoever. It looks cool. I'm hearing good things, but that's from players that are very good at the game. I need to hear what the casuals are saying.
Yeah, what are the casuals saying?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one, though. What is a sports moment you have always wanted to witness? Now, I don't know if he means historically or just like something that could happen. I'm going to operate with the idea of historically.
Same.
What's your thoughts?
Would you like to go? Okay, I'll go first. Troy Polamalu, 2008 AFC Championship game interception. Pick 6.
Yeah, that's
to beat the Ravens.
Very good one.
Or my other one would be this is kind of a sleeper, but I would have liked to have been in Fenway when A-Rod came back from suspension.
Oh, interesting.
As well. Yeah, when Ryan Dumpster threw at him. And
I'm surprised you didn't go with like, Jeter's hit, Jeter's home run.
There's a lot of good ones. I also was thinking Aaron Boone's 2003 ALCS or 2004, something in there.
I think mine would just be the 2021 World Series clinching game. I would have loved to witness that in person.
What about a Falcons moment for you? What would you have want to?
Not a lot of good ones. Actually, I know exactly what I'd want to witness, and this is like the weirdest one. The season after the Super Bowl loss versus the Panthers. I think it was in Carolina. Julio had like 200 and something yards. Yeah. Matt Ryan had like 400 something yards. That game was awesome, and I had Julio in fantasy.
Oh, yes.
It was awesome. Yes. I would love to have witnessed that game.
That's a good one. I had Alvin Kamara on that Christmas game where he had like 5 or 6 touchdowns, and I still lost that week. Yeah, crazy. I think I've said that on the pod before.
I'll do a quick soccer match that I would have wanted to witness. The second leg of PSG Barcelona in like 2016 in the Champions League when PSG had that unbelievable comeback.
La remontada.
Yeah, I wanted to be there for that. That was an awesome match.
I'll do a soccer moment as well. I will go 2012 Champions League final.
Makes sense.
Didier Drogba's header.
Yeah, that one definitely makes sense. All right. Are you into card collecting, and if so, what kind of cards? I would say I am a surface level baseball card collector. Like I've got the sleeves and the top loaders, and I haven't really bought many packs this year, just because I don't really care to. I don't think there's a lot of rookies that I really care to get. Honestly, is mainly the thing. Unfortunately, I am the owner of a lot of Wander Franco rookie cards.
Oh man.
Yeah, so those need to go in the
Mm.
garbage.
Yeah. I am not a baseball card collector or a card of any kind.
Yeah.
I do like card games.
Okay.
But as far as like collecting, I've never
You never did like
understood it.
Pokemon or anything?
Uh-uh. Nope.
Me and Nathan did Pokemon cards when we were kids. That was a big one. I do like that there's been a
Yeah.
recent boom. I love it. I love
Yeah.
like card collecting culture.
I think the only thing that's interesting to me about card collecting is the value
Yeah.
that they hold.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, that's really
a
it for
cool
me.
part of it.
Yeah.
Who will have the biggest fall off in the NFL this season? I'm going to say let's do one team, one player.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of mine. So
Yeah, me too.
you have one. Go ahead,
Crap.
blurt it out.
Ah,
The
team.
player wise, I'm trying to think of like
Is
guys.
saying Miami like a cop out?
Nah, I guess kind of just because of the injury. But
Yeah.
I could see where you're coming from with that. I think I'm gonna go with the Saints. They're gonna fall off at some point. They've got.
Oh, okay.
That'll be my team. I'm actually.
Shit,
I have my player as well, Dak Prescott.
That's a good one. All off, Amari Cooper, player. And team? Should I just go with Cleveland?
You might want to. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm really trying to think. I almost kind of want to say Detroit. I still
Ooh.
think that they'll probably make the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to be anything like it was last year.
Yeah, which I'm not happy about. I have them in the Super Bowl.
Do you
Unfortunately.
really?
I had them in the Texans.
Whoa, you're going weird. I like
Yeah.
it though. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's obviously not my pick anymore.
It's already changed.
Who is your favorite athlete that doesn't play baseball or football? I think that's easy because we have soccer players to choose from. But I've always been a LeBron James guy.
Okay.
I always have.
Can I go like a retired athlete that's not football, baseball?
Yeah. I'd say any of all time.
Two kind of low key ones that come to mind would be Eden Hazard.
Okay.
And
yeah.
if we're gonna go, I'll go basketball too. Kevin Garnett.
Ooh,
AG.
I like that pick.
He is easily like top 3 sports personality. I could listen to him tell stories all day
Other
long.
than the fact that he can't read.
Yeah.
If you ever
He's
see
hilarious,
the
though.
clips of that shit is so funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
you,
think of other athletes that I'm fans of.
Did you ever see Uncut Gems?
I think so, but I don't remember it fondly. In particular.
Kevin Garnett was great in that.
Yes,
movie.
I do remember that. I remember that he was
Yeah.
good in that movie. I'm gonna go with a current athlete that I'm a big fan of, Sahith Theegala for golf.
Okay.
He's the golfer I've been following along with the most. Yeah, I can't even think of like. I guess I probably do have a favorite soccer player. I see. The thing is like I have favorite soccer players, and none of them are Newcastle players. But it's also like my fandom is relatively new, and they haven't had players worth being a fan of. Like, who am I gonna say? John Joe Shelby?
I've always, even growing up, like never watched tennis, but like the Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Andy Murray.
Yeah.
Who's that Australian guy that's kind of a dickhead? Kyrgios?
Oh, Kyrgios, yeah, Nick Kyrgios.
Like all of the big tennis guys, I really, really enjoy. I think they're all badass.
I'm not a huge Djokovic guy. I'm a Federer guy.
I would put Nadal and Djokovic over Federer as far
Okay.
as how much I like them.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked
Federer's pretty
Fed.
cool.
He was fun.
That was fun.
I'm trying to think any other athletes. Hate to say, I don't think I have any female athletes in particular.
Yeah.
I do. I heavily fuck with Noah Lyles. I know he's kind of a polarizing figure, but I like him. I do.
Me too. I like him as well. Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll cut that question off there. And a final one, which I pre-screened these questions earlier, just when he posted them, and this is the only one I even really read. Would you rather be a pitcher who always throws a 100-mile-per-hour strike or a QB who always throws a completion? And I think this is a very flawed question. Because just because you throw a 100-mile-per-hour strike doesn't mean somebody can't hit a home run off you. If I'm throwing a completion every single time, I'm chucking that bitch up.
Yeah.
If it's always going to be completed,
you're right.
like that's unstoppable.
We poked a hole through that question, Nathan.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch it to, would you rather be a pitcher who always throws a 100-mile-per-hour strike or be a QB who can throw 80 yards in the air?
100-mile-per-hour strike.
Yeah. Okay, then let's see. What would compare right? That was like the thing that I was
Yeah.
thinking, but I can't.
Like
I guess throw at like it's always where it needs to be. Like the pass is always where it needs to be. It's up to your wide receiver to catch it.
I have a good one.
Okay.
What if? All right, pitcher who can throw a 100-mile-per-hour strike every time, or you can never throw an interception.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's all down to you.
Yeah.
And your accuracy, basically.
Okay. I have another possible stipulation. Let's move away from the quarterback position. Let's say you're a running back who can always break the first tackle.
I think that's an ability in Madden.
It probably is.
But sometimes, yeah, it can be bad though. If you get behind the line, if they get behind the line of scrimmage and you break the first tackle and it pushes you back,
throwing 100 could be bad because it's going to jump off the bat.
I would still throw 100.
I don't know, dude. Mason Miller gave up a home run on the hardest thrown pitch of the StatCast era to give up a extra base hit. It was 103. Somebody took it out of the park.
Yeah. What about a wide receiver who always breaks their first tackle? Maybe that's too OP.
Yeah, I think it is because they're always almost always one-on-one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think the quarterback that doesn't throw an interception is probably the best.
Over throwing 100 miles an hour?
Yeah. Because, you could still throw a bad pass and to get batted down, but it's like when you throw up a 50-50 ball, the fact that interception is out of the cards is pretty big. But you might get a little too cocky. And then, you're just going to throw incomplete passes.
That's a good point, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's tough. But if it were just always throws a completion, that's the obvious pick. Because you just go all the way down the field.
Yeah.
I'd throw into, triple coverage.
Yeah. I'd close my eyes.
Yeah, dude. You would love to have my wide receivers in fantasy. Holy shit. It doesn't even matter, dude. Wide receiver 3. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest one ever. Okay. I think that's all for questions time. That's the last question we've got. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that's been going on. It's been super fun couple of weeks with the NFL starting up. Soccer kind of in full swing now. Baseball getting there. We're getting there. I know the last month, 2 months really, is just the most boring part of the MLB season. But we're finally there. We're finally heating up. So I'm excited for the playoffs. Hopefully the Braves are there. And yeah,
there's a chance.
Obviously, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, make sure to like. And let's. What do you want them to comment today?
Tell us the best thing about your day today.
Okay, and then also, who are the 3 teams that'll get wild card spots in the American League? Do it in separate comments, though.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you subscribe, of course. Always subscribe. Turn on the post notifications as well so you stay up to date with everything we're doing here. Join the Second and Short subreddit, r/2NDAND short. Submit your questions on Thursdays by about 4 p.m., I'd say is a safe time to do it. By 4 p.m. to make sure that they are answered here live on Questions Time on the podcast. Obviously, if you have not listened to it or watched it yet, listen to the Second Short College Football Show. Second episode came out yesterday as you're listening to this, so go give it a listen before Saturday's college football matchups. And look, we've got like a week and a half until our next team of the month.
Yeah, it's creeping up on us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just hopefully I'm quicker at the editing process because that. Whew, wow.
Trust me, it never slows down. I put in a cool 5-6 hours doing the college football show this week. So, and 8 hours week one.
But I might add, what a rewarding feeling, and I'm excited to chase that again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it did really well. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Obviously, turn on the post notifications if you want to see when that comes out, or follow us on Instagram. Follow us there. That's where we keep everybody the most updated on everything that we've got going on. So, for the time being, Luke, anything for the people before we get out of here?
I feel like there was one thing that I saved that I maybe wanted to say. Crap. I'm blanking. I think score prediction for Chelsea West Ham.
Okay.
1-0 Chelsea.
Okay. You heard it here first.
I didn't save myself right there. That was horrible. I'm sorry.
Any inspirational quote maybe to lead into the weekend?
Vaya con Dios.
Wonderful. If you don't know that, I guess look it up. But also, you should know what that means. All right, guys. Yeah. We'll let you guys get out of here. Obviously, we're about to go watch some Thursday Night Football. You guys enjoy all the football this weekend. Enjoy all the football this weekend. And, of course, we will catch you guys on Monday. Luke will catch you guys next week. See you guys later. Peace.